Get ready. Get God. Welcome to another exciting episode of And Why Not, the most intelligent white noise here on YouTube, where if you're doing chores around the house, or you need something to listen to while you are at work, or if you're looking to get involved in any discussion on any of the topics covered, this is the place to come to. In this live stream, I take full advantage of my First Amendment right, my freedom of thought and speech, so long as if I don't violate the extremely silly guidelines of this current platform. This is episode number 113, and today's date is March 28th, 2024. Yes. And before we get started and get things rolling, just got to do a little bit of house cleaning and let you guys know that in case you guys are interested about my whereabouts, should something happen to this particular channel that you're on right now, you can check out my Rumble account, or you can go to my Odyssey account, and links to both of those are in the description below. So in case something happens to this channel, you can go to either one of those places to find out about my whereabouts. Hey, what happened to Vecco? How come he's no longer on YouTube? Well, go to Odyssey, Rumble, and I'll be able to give you explanations over there. All right. And also, as far as the cartoon, because people like to ask all the time, hey, what's going on with the 12 series? Well, again, as I always say in every stream, it's currently in the works. But actually, I'm moving along pretty fast. So I'm almost, I even hate to say this out loud, but I'm almost at the halfway point. Excuse me. Yeah, I am almost at the halfway point. Oh, gosh. It's driving me crazy. Yes. But I hope that once it's completed, that you guys will enjoy what you see. And if not, hey, glory to God. God knows my heart while I'm doing this. He's the one that's giving me the zeal to continue to work on this and to bring it to life and bring it to fruition. So, but again, for those of you who are fans, or maybe you're not super fans of the cartoon or just cartoons in general, some people just are not, they just don't have a thing for animation. That's okay. But if you are a true Bible-believing, blood-bought, born-again believer of Jesus Christ, if you believe that he died on the cross and that 3 days later he rose from the grave, and it's through him and him alone, not of works, not keeping the law, not observing the Sabbath, okay, but just putting a simple faith and trust in the Messiah, believing who he said he is, believing that he is the Son of the living God, and believing that there's only one God and one mediator between God and man, the man Christ Jesus. Okay, and within the one being called God, there coexist three persons. If you believe all that stuff, then you, sir, madam, are my brother and my sister, despite the fact that you're not a Calvinist. That's okay if you're not a Calvinist. Hey, not everybody's perfect. That's okay. But if you believe any of those things that I just mentioned, then you are my brother and you are my sister. You are my father, my mother. You are my father in the spirit. Okay. And I ask you today that you keep me in prayer. Continue to keep your prayers for zeal to remain in me to bring this cartoon to completion. Okay, so I do humbly ask that you would do that for me. Okay, so I really, really appreciate it. And real quick, we'll just get this out the way too, just since we're already talking about cartoon. In case you guys are interested, we do got some t-shirts and other paraphernalia and neck gaiters. So in case you guys are interested, there is a link to those in the description below as well, in case you guys want to look around and just want to get something that represents the cartoon. Or hey, Easter is this coming Sunday, right? Of course, I like to call it Resurrection Day. Why not wear one of these shirts? Well, actually, you know what? If you order the shirt now on the 28th, you definitely won't get the shirt by Easter. That's for sure. So, but you can still represent throughout the rest of the year, and as many times as you want. So, just throwing that out there, just in case you guys are interested. Anyway, now let's get started. I'm probably going to open up the room right away. I don't know how many of you are going to be interested in this topic because many of you may not even be aware of who any of these people that I'm going to be talking about are. You may not even know about the whole controversy that's been going on. It's blowing up the internet regarding this particular individual named Candace Owens. So maybe this live stream may not be for you, but I can say this though with great honesty and conviction. I definitely have this on my heart. I definitely want to talk about this issue, mainly because of this so-called rise of anti-Semitism. And it's all stemming from this relationship between Candace Owens and the media outlet called Daily Wire that she used to work with. And there were some issues going on between her and one of the journalists there named Ben Shapiro. You might know him from a couple of things there. He was, I think, widely popular for speaking against transgenderism. There's that discussion that he had with a transgender male to female, whatever you want to call it. And the dude, the transgender, the transformer, put his hand around the back of Ben Shapiro's neck, because Ben Shapiro was telling him like it is. He was telling that men cannot be women and women cannot be men, and it is a mental disorder. That's what he was saying. And the guy sitting next to him, the guy dressed the transformer, didn't like what Ben Shapiro had to say. So he put his hand around the back of his throat and said, if you keep talking like that, I'm going to put you in an ambulance or something like that. And then Shapiro just looked right back at him straight in the eye and says, well, that's mildly inappropriate for a conversation like this. You know, so that was one thing, one of the many things that Ben Shapiro himself is popular for. The other one was a discussion that he had on the panel full of black activists or black people, I guess. I don't know if they were actual activists or not. And he was spitting some truth about black people here in America. A lot of people didn't like that, especially people in the audience. But that video went viral, and I think that was one of the many videos that put Ben Shapiro on the map. Now, Ben Shapiro is Jewish. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find a picture of him since I'm talking about the guy. And don't worry, I'm going to open up the room pretty soon. Although I doubt anybody would be interested in coming in. And I got a lot to cover tonight, a lot. So this is probably going to be one of those long streams again, because the picture, as you see the picture on your screen right now, it's a picture of Candace Owens. She's on the left side there, and on the right side is what's his name, Rabbi Barclay. I have no idea who he is. I didn't find out about his existence until this video was going around, where she was confronting him about his accusation against her of being an anti-Semite. Now, I'm going to let you guys know ahead of time. This stream is probably going to piss a lot of people off tonight. I'm just letting you know right now. Some of you are going to be very upset with me. Some of you may even accuse me of being an anti-Semite. Some of you won't. Some of you might agree with me. But I will say this, that my allegiance is to God and to God alone. And if you don't like what I have to say, then I'll be opening up the room and you'll be more than welcome to come in and address it. But I'm going to tell you right now that for those of you who do know me, you know that I profess to be a Christian, and therefore the word of God is my foundation. I presuppose that scripture is truth, is the word of truth. And it is my foundation. It is my basis for everything that I understand, observe, and believe, and know. Hold on one second. Yes. Yeah. Bad timing. Anyway. Okay. All right, folks. Let me step away for a sec. Gotta take care of the little one real quick. But I thank you guys for tuning in anyway. Once I get back, I'll do a quick couple shout outs, and then we'll just play it by ear, see what happens from there. So I will be right back. All right. Okay, we're back. All right. So real quick before we get things rolling, just do a couple of shout outs on the side chat, and then I will be posting the link for anybody who's interested. I do want to let you know ahead of time, though, that I don't want the discussion to veer off into a different topic of any sort. I want to stay on topic. However, I will say this. As I was getting ready to start this stream, I was just kind of moving around on YouTube just to see what other videos are up and stuff like that. And I stumbled across a live stream of Leighton Flowers. And this dude, when I say that he's an anti-Calvinist, I mean, the dude is 100% an anti-Calvinist. He's not a non-Calvinist. He is an anti-Calvinist. I am fully convinced that the man hates the sovereignty of God. I mean, all that this dude talks about is Calvinism. He talks more about Calvinism than he does about the actual gospel. And I think that he's on a serious damage control campaign. That's what I think he is. James White wiped the floor with him in that debate, and he hasn't shut up about it ever since. He's still talking about it, even though it's almost been a month, and he's still talking about it. You want to talk about butthurt and coping? I mean, if the dude was German, we'll call him Copenhagen. Cope and hating. That's what I would call him. Copenhagen. That'll be his German name. Leighton Flowers. This dude is mad coping, bro. I mean, he's got it bad, bro. James White did him bad, bro. Anyway, let me just do a couple of shout outs real quick. Jill, what's going on? Shalom, shalom. Josh Musics, what's up? What's up? What's up? Bubblegum Gun, what's up? What's up? We got Michelle Sherry in the house. What's happening? What's happening? All right. I thought I saw some John, or maybe not. Maybe I should seeing some other things. Bubblegum says the key to winning most debates is to get the opponent to define their terms specifically. Terms you get a feel they are being vague about. This will help you analyze the type of logic they are doing. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yes. Okay, good. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm not even sure where to start. I got quite a few videos I want to look at. So most of these videos will be doing the explanation for me. But let me get the link out there real quick. Let me get rid of this banner first. All right. Okay. And Jill said that was an L, Flowers bloodbath. Yeah, L. Does L stand for Leighton, or does L stand for, oh my gosh, James White destroyed me in that last debate? We can talk soon. Josh, welcome.
What's going on, Beckle?
Not much. So, are you familiar with Candace Owens or anything like that?
Yeah, Candace and Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro's kind of a big deal. I mean, you kind of played it off as if like he had one clip and then that was just like thing, but he's kind of been in the media, in the news, and in apologetics for a while now.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro. Yeah, he is a big deal, actually. When you think of Daily Wire, that's the first face that pops up in your mind. And for the most, one thing I appreciate about Ben Shapiro is that he's very bold in, spitting out the facts, and I appreciate that. But
I
go ahead.
personally can't stand him.
Oh, really?
And the same goes for Candace Owens. I can't stand her either. She's she's just picking the most like right-wing agenda and then just kind of running with it.
Like what? Can you be more specific? Like,
so like me and you would both agree with the barbecue community that it's like that Okay, remember we were talking about the Latin X thing?
Yeah.
So she's the type who would be like, no, that's crazy. Why use Latin X? You're either Latino or Latina, period.
Right.
So she always takes those positions, the more conservative, the more right-wing agendas. And I don't know if she really truly like holds to those positions rather than she's just trying to be relevant. I don't know.
What makes you think that that she doesn't really hold to those positions? Like, have you seen her contradict herself regarding those things that she speaks about, or
it's just her? When I see her videos and her interactions,
you don't like her delivery?
Yeah, it's not even just her delivery. It just seems very like orchestrated. Like, it doesn't seem like a genuine thing. Like, if me and you were to have a discussion about the life of Jesus, right? We could have a pretty fruitful conversation. Like, let's just say no Bibles, leave your Bible on the side. We're gonna go from right before Christ was born until he ascended into heaven, and we try to fill in all the blanks just off the top of our head.
Right.
I feel like we would have a lot to say, but about Herod trying to kill the Jews or trying to kill the children under 2, and then how they fled and how he was born in a manger, all the way up to him preaching at the temple. So it's something that we are speaking of as if we know it, versus somebody who would say, oh yeah, Jesus was a man, and he had good principles, and I like what he taught. It's just so that's how I feel about Candace. How she's not really like committed to a particular subject. She just knows enough to like try to engage in it,
I'm still not sure I'm understanding your issue with her, but
if we play some videos with her, are you gonna play videos of her?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at it, and I'll kind of point out some of the things that kind of like maybe rub me wrong.
Oh, well, we're real quick. Welcome to the room, Wild Heart. What's going on?
Cheers. Yeah, thanks for letting me on. Cheers.
All right, so real quick before we start looking at some videos, I don't have a specific order, but I do have quite a few videos. So again, you guys do not feel obligated to participate in discussion on this. This is something I felt on my heart to do because I've been bombarded with it, and plus mainly because the term Christ is King is at the center of what I want to talk, why I'm even doing this live stream. Yeah. So anyway, Candace Owens, for some of you who may not know, she's an outspoken conservative speaker. She used to work for Daily Wire, but prior to that, she made her popularity through making videos on YouTube. Then she worked with Charlie Kirk, TP USA, Turning Point USA, and then after that, she went on more interviews, and then she eventually got a job working with Ben Shapiro at the Daily Wire, and I think she was there for about 2 years, and then there was some point where she defended Kanye West, because Kanye West, and we all know that whenever you get Kanye West in an interview, he's bound to say something wacky. Okay, so you have to watch out for him. Okay, and sure enough, he did. He went. He made a comment about online talking about it's time that I'm going DEFCON 3 or whatever on all Jews or something like that. And people heard that and or saw that because it was a tweet, and like, wait, where is this coming from? It sounds awfully anti-Semitic, and rightly so. It does come off as very anti-Semitic. What are you talking about? You're going DEFCON 3 on all Jews. Why are you saying that? And where's this coming from? And then he had an appearance on on Alex Jones' show where he started saying some weird stuff. As a matter of fact, you guys talk amongst yourself. I'm going to see if I can find the link here.
Yeah, little bit anti-Semitic would be an understatement. I want to go DEFCON 3 on all the Jews. Little bit anti-Semitic, yeah.
A little bit, right? Now there were some people.
Real quick,
yeah, you're good.
So about your title, Jesus is King. Did you see anything recently about? Are you familiar with the personnel, Sneeko? I think that's his name.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that. Yeah, Sneeko as well as Andrew Tate. And we're going to talk a little bit about this guy named Nick Fuentes as well. And they're part of the reason why people are now viewing this phrase Christ is King as anti-Semitic dog whistle, if you will. And I think we as Christians need to speak up against that, because that's not true. You know, that term Christ is King is something that Christians have been saying since the beginning of since Christ was born.
When he was crucified, they put it above his head, King of the Jews.
Right.
Yeah, I can't understand that. Like where you get from Christ being crucified to that being anti-Semitic. I don't get the.
Let me ask you something too, Beckel.
Yeah.
Because when we describe anti-Semitic, just for argument's sake, does this mean having any type of issue with the Jewish group? The modern day Jewish group? Is that what we mean by anti-Semitism?
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. We need to actually talk about that real quick. What, in fact, is anti-Semitism? And most people would say anti-Semitism is anti-Jewish hostility or anti-Jewish sentiment or prejudice against Jewish people.
So anti-Jewish hostility is not what you wanted. That's not right. You mean
hostility towards Jewish people?
Okay. Because now, again, the reason I feel like we need to define and then kind of explore this a little further. Are you familiar with Darby?
Darby? No.
He's a black preacher, and he preaches a lot. And when he preaches, I think he passed away already. He talks a lot about how the people in Israel right now claiming to be Jews, they're not the same descendants that were there 2,000 years ago crucifying Jesus. This is another group of people who adopted the Jewish religion.
Yeah.
And now they're
no.
Oh, you there?
Yeah, and now they're trying to claim the Jewish rights as their own. So when we talk about anti-Semitism, like I personally, the Bible believe that the Bible tells us that we should love the Jews. Jesus was a Jew. The only reason we have scripture is because of the Jews, you know, and when I mean scripture, I'm talking about the Old Testament, right? The New Testament is what the apostles wrote. So when we look at it this way, I have no issue with those Jews. Yeah, I mean, I would, like, even though I don't agree with the Black Israelites or the Hebrew Israelites, I still have a little more respect for them, because there's no way to really confirm nor deny whether or not they actually are the direct descendants of the 12 tribes of Judah. But however, I don't want to be caught in the position where they were and I mistreated them or I did something against them, because I feel like that would be something directly against Christ himself, because Christ was a Jew. Now, in terms of anti-Semitism, I love those Jews, the 12 tribes of Judah, which we don't necessarily see, but the modern day Jews today, I have an issue with them, and so I don't know if it makes me anti-Semitic or if should be a different term for that.
See, that's where we need to have the discussion about what it actually means to be anti-Semitic. Go ahead, Wildheart. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the Jews today are directly descended from the Jews from 2,000 years ago, because to be like a religious Jew, your mother has to be Jewish, so they are directly descended You can be like a cultural Jew, but the Jews today, because they don't proselytize, basically, they don't try to. It's not like Christians. They don't try to make people Jewish. The only way you can be like born Jewish is to be born to a Jewish mother. So they are directly descended from the Jews from 2000.
I have a slightly different point of view, but that's okay. Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
So I have one of my friends. He grew up with me in California. Well, he didn't grow up with me in California. I've been friends with him for a while here in California. And his father is Jewish and his mother is Catholic. Now, he took his father's last name, obviously. And I personally love him. He's always open to talk about Jesus. He's never turned down the idea. And I feel like the Jewish which he is the same types of Jews that would be the descendants of the people currently in Israel. So to be consistent, I would have to say, yeah, maybe your dad is Jewish by religion, but ethnicity wise, you might be Polish or from Denmark or some other like Caucasus like ethnicity background. So, but regardless of the fact, I love him, and
right.
And in my eschatological like view of things, I know you were there during the conversation yesterday. Now it goes really, really deep. Now there's so many points in the eschatology that weren't even discussed, and one of the positions that I tend to hold to is that after the rapture, which it would be pre-trib for me, the Jews are left behind, and because they're still waiting for the coming Messiah, at which point the Antichrist will reveal himself as the Messiah. The Jews which are here on earth will then receive that Antichrist as their Messiah.
Now you take the pre-trib position, right? You believe the pre-trib rapture, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember you guys were arguing about that earlier this morning.
Yeah, so
for other people.
I lean a lot more towards that. But I know that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring this up is because in the Bible it tells us that the nation of Israel is going to go through the tribulation. Okay? I think now when we describe that, the nation of Israel, I think the Bible is accurate when it says that, and it's not referring to those who later converted to Judaism, but rather the actual descendants of Israel. Because God made a covenant with Israel that he would restore them, and that a certain land would be theirs. So depending on how you feel about replacement covenant theology and how all of that factors in, I have to hold to the position that the modern day Jews, which we see now, at one point or another will be exposed as like you're simply converts of the religion, not actual descendants of.
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion there. I would definitely like to talk about someday in the future. Maybe we could talk about it on May 14th, which is coming up in a couple months.
But, anytime. You got my email. We can always plan something.
I do have a little bit of a controversial view on the issue of May 14th, 1948, as well as the identification of the Jews in a biological sense. And when I share this with some Christians, I get, I do get attacked sometimes because I don't hold it to some of these beliefs that we hear amongst some evangelicals. But that's a whole other discussion there. and we could talk about that definitely. Maybe if we have room for it tonight, we could talk about it. But right now, what I want to do is I want to show this video here. This is a very short clip. Oh, actually, hold on. This is not the short clip. Well, let me see. Let me see if we can get to the part. Anyway, Kanye West made an appearance on the Alex Jones show, the InfoWars, and welcome to the room, Joe. As you can see, this is him with the black mask over his face. Why did he come dressed up as like with this mask over his face? I don't know. Other than the dude is crazy, and I'm sorry. I don't care how based he might be. The guy isn't. The guy is crazy. The guy is crazy. I'm sorry. I don't think anybody could convince me otherwise. The guy is crazy. And here in this interview with Alex Jones, he says some wacky, incoherent stuff. And one of the things that he says is he actually gives praise, says some positive comments towards Adolf Hitler. Now, I believe in free speech, but there are some things that you have to say or not say in wisdom, okay? And I don't think Kanye West really thought about what he wanted to say or should say when he got on this platform here, because there's got him in a lot of trouble, and I don't know. Let me see if I can play a little bit of it. You guys know what to do. Holler at me if you can't hear nothing, and away we go.
One of the big topics right now is all of the pedophilia advertisement. And my take on that is, there's one place in the Bible where it says God sees sin differently. And there's another place where it says, let me get out my phone. I can really pull up the exact thing it says in the Bible. The general gist, and we'll get back to it after the 5-minute break, is that you have to stay strict to everything and remove as much sin as possible in order to serve God. And when people look at pornography, when a grown man is looking at a grown woman have sex on camera, you're still looking at someone's daughter, and you're looking at a lot of times someone that is the product of pedophilia. So people will engage in going to strip clubs or looking at pornography, but then the moral compass is like, oh my God, look at the pedophiles. But in a way, anybody who looks at pornography is a form of a pedophile also. Let's bank it all in. It's very simple. We're not going to be talking about all this moral code and these standards right here. It's either Christ said so or Christ said no.
Yay, powerful information. I totally agree with you. Back in 60 seconds to join over 400 radio stations. Nick Pointet, you're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also. I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can love us, and you can love what we're doing to you with the contracts, and you can love what we're pushing with the pornography. But this guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I use as a musician, you can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good. And I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler.
Especially Hitler.
Okay, we'll stop this. All right. There was actually another video where he's kind of making fun of Netanyahu, where he actually brought, in the middle of the conversation, he pulls out a little fish net and then a bottle of Yahoo in the other hand. And Alex Jones is like, what's going on? What's that? He said, I want you to meet Netanyahu. Get it?
No, to be fair, that is a good play on words. I applaud that.
Yeah, it was
Netanyahu. That's fine.
And as far as the Hitler inventing the microphone, I haven't looked that up. I don't believe that at all. One person said that is not even remotely close to the truth. I don't know where he got this idea from. But I want somebody, but see, this is that statement where he said that he sees good in all people, especially Hitler. Right there is one of the many things that kind of set it off between himself and the Jewish community. So, because one thing that you don't say as a non-Jew is you don't give praise to Adolf Hitler or to the Nazis or the Nazi movement or anything of that sort. In fact, from my understanding, you guys could correct me. I heard that in Germany, you can actually get sent to jail if you even challenge the Holocaust, right, in any way, shape, or form, right? Am I correct? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that is true. Yeah, in Germany, you deny the Holocaust. Yeah, you can be arrested for that. Yeah.
So I want to talk about this term, anti-Semitism. What we already kind of looked at the definition earlier, and we said that it was anti-Jewish sentiment. Right. Let me see if you guys could. Let me see if I could blow it up. So I'm on Google, and it says hostility or prejudice against Jewish people. See, now here, I believe when things are going to get a little interesting for this stream here, because I have this view about particularly people in the Jewish community. Not all of them, obviously, but some of them have this mentality that I see that's very similar with many people on the left, and particularly in the Black community. Any type of just criticism or scrutiny that's being brought towards a person within this community can sometimes be viewed as anti-Semitic. Now, if a Jewish person does something wrong and you call it out and say, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, why is that anti-Semitic? Some people say that would be anti-Semitic. Now, I don't know, but
that wouldn't be anti-Semitic. No.
Right.
If you're attacking them because they are Jewish, that would be anti-Semitic.
Right. Exactly.
Just to say a Jewish person did something wrong and I'm criticizing that wouldn't be.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Becco, let me ask you something.
Sure.
Right. As Christians, we're called to love our enemies.
That's correct.
We are called to forgive. So again, so with Hitler, Hitler's agenda, it was not only against the Jews, right? He had the mentally disabled,
right?
If he had any Black people, I'm sure they're going to concentration camps too, or if not, just killed off completely. His agenda was the eugenics movement, which was the purification of this Aryan race, where he wanted everyone to be blonde hair, blue eyes. So at the end of the day, like, it's a hard thing to try to put on, because it's like, do I forgive Hitler for what he did? Well, he didn't do nothing to me. He caused the whole world to break out into war. And I don't think that hatred towards anyone is good. Right. I saw this video on the internet the other day where this guy had cerebral palsy. He was walking in his car, and then this guy was making fun of him, pretending to be like disabled, and he went up to him and sucker punched him in the face. And then he got arrested. He went to jail. But so I'm against like hatred towards anyone, not just specifically towards a particular group of people. Like with slavery, like slavery is wrong no matter who's enslaved. It's wrong. You know, the Bible talks about a certain level of some type of indentured servant where, you know, after a certain amount of years, you can kind of earn your freedom and things of that nature. But whatever the African Americans went through in terms of slavery here in America, you know, how would we have seen it if the Indians, instead of being killed off with smallpox, they were also made into slaves? Or if
well, are you talking though? Are you saying that? Because I want to talk more about what actually anti-Semitism what entails, like, and I think Wildheart, you answered it. I like your response. I like your answer. You're saying it's not anti-Semitism if you're bringing right correction to someone who's done something that's a violation of a law or something that was just said that was incorrect. You're not attacking that person's ethnicity or their culture. You're just saying, hey, you know, 2 + 2 is not 5, sir. So you're wrong about that.
But I mean, what it boils down to is like the war. So the big issue is between the what is it, Palestine and Israel and the IDF and Hamas. Yeah. So like, it doesn't matter who is provoking the war or continuing the war. Like, the people think that because you have an issue with Hamas defending themselves, or, you know, Palestinians defending themselves, that now suddenly you're anti-Semitic. Now that's not the case. Like, I think anywhere that anyone is experiencing war, they should have the right to defend themselves. And, you know,
I'm glad that you mentioned the Palestine, because that's really what kind of sparked all this. Ever since the Hezbollah attacked those innocent Israeli citizens over there, you know, and I heard that there's video out there and it's just horrendous. It's very, very graphic. I don't want to see it, but I was given some description on some of the content in it, and I maybe I should practice a little bit of imprecatory prayer against those scumbags that did those terrible things, right? But I think and then from there on, you have these idiot liberals, these leftists, I should say, who are defending the Palestinians, but at the same time, they're like not showing any compassion for what happened to the innocent civilians in Israel. And so they look like they're a bunch of people who are supporting Hezbollah, you know, and there seems to be no desire for them to, or ability on some of these people's parts, to engage in a civil and intelligent discussion about the issues between the Palestinians and the Israelis. So now both sides are accusing each other of things that, that are to some degree taken out of context, and some others is just based off of emotion, and there's no rational thinking behind it. There's no critical thinking being attempted or practiced. And so now you got all this tension going on amongst people, particularly here in America, and even amongst the right. And that's where we have this issue within Daily Wire.
So I think we need to be more like honest in terms of like our critique.
Yeah, Hamas. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sure.
No, not just Hamas. I'm just saying, like, be more honest about our critique.
I don't know why I said Hezbollah. Okay, it's Hamas, right? Hamas, right?
So with so here's the thing, man. See, whether or not you want to believe this, the information we have access to is 100% controlled by the U.S. government. When you go on your phone and you go on Google and you look up Hamas,
that's just not true. There are many countries with different news organizations, and it's not.
See, that's the other thing too, right? I mean, how do we know that the information that we're receiving from the media?
So that's what I'm telling you. You can't just you can't just assume one way or the other, Wildheart. You can't just say, yeah, we have access to all the information. Like, there's countries like North Korea where they absolutely are total lockdown. There's countries like China where they cannot even access Facebook or different websites. So, I mean, I personally think it would be completely naive to think that the United States of America doesn't have some level of filtering and monitoring when it comes to what is displayed. I mean, who is our internet provider? Spectrum Internet, Verizon, these big organizations that are the ones who ultimately fund the political campaigns. They have.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I kind of agree with you. But you said it's solely controlled by the news organizations in the USA, and that's just not true.
Well, there's a large level of control. What I'm saying is that if you're in Russia and you look up, Russia versus who are they fighting with right next to them?
Ukraine.
The Ukraine. You're gonna get a more of a Russian like bias. Now, if you're saying that,
biases,
Now, if you're looking at it in the U.S. and you look up Ukraine versus Russia, you're gonna get a lot of like Ukrainian bias.
Pro Ukraine, pro Ukraine.
So right. Now we got to keep this in mind because see, they're portraying this image of Hamas as being these people who launched an attack against Israel. Now, mind you, before October 7th, they were always sending missiles into Israel. They have their little.
Oh man, they've been fighting for thousands of years.
Yeah, so it's just like this is the one time that like they fired enough missiles for some of them to make it through their Iron Dome and kind of make a big thing about it. Like let's be here's a real question for you guys. Do you believe that the IDF soldiers, when they come across a little family of Palestinians or a little group of Hamas people, how much do you think they're abiding by the rules of war? Do you think that they're taking the women as they please as well? Or are they murdering children as well?
You talking about Israeli soldiers? Yeah. See, I'm glad you brought that up. See, that's again, this brings us right back to why we're even having this discussion tonight, is because people like Candace Owens, while she has great sympathy for what happened to the Israeli citizens there on the hands of Hamas, right? She, at the same time, in the discussion about the ongoing back and forth fighting between Israelis and the Palestinians, was pointing out that Israel's hands are not necessarily clean either, historically speaking. But when she pointed that out, all of a sudden, she's being accused of being an anti-Semite. But she's not taking sides here. She's not saying that, I favor Palestine, but she's not letting the Israelis off the hook either. Now, me personally, I haven't done any research on the issue, on the history. I just know that the two sides have been fighting for a very long time. And I've also heard, too, that, the Israelis have done some horrible and heinous things to the Palestinians in the past as well. So maybe you guys can educate me on when that actually took place and which incidents.
Let's take out IDF for a second. Let's just talk about war and men, okay? For 1 second. We have these stories about people who were in Vietnam, these American soldiers who did some cruel and heinous things. Against the. Now, this is just talking about man in general. Like, when a man has a gun and has control, like, they can take as they please, and nobody's going to tell them anything. There's not. What are they going to do if somebody comes in and they find, like, a group of dead kids where all the kids had guns, so I had to shoot them? We really... We're limited to the information. We're not there, man. We're just ultimately not there. So we don't really know, but I think it would just be, it would be ignorant to not even consider the possibility that what it is that Hamas is being accused of. How do we know that Israel isn't so innocent themselves?
See, and that's why I'm doing this stream tonight, because I want people to think critically. I don't want people to take one side over the other. And I mean, we can say, listen, what we saw in that video, well, I didn't see the videos, but the videos of Hamas doing those horrible things to those innocent Israeli citizens, there's no that's uncalled for. There's just no excuse for that. Those people need to be executed immediately, and then sent straight to hell for what they did. Okay, according to what I've heard. I didn't watch the videos. Okay. However, if we're going to talk about the history between the two nations, yeah, definitely we can say, oh yeah, both nations have dirty hands, and it shouldn't be anti-Semitic to point that out. It shouldn't be anti-Semitic to say, hey, we know the Palestinians did some dirty stuff to the Israelis, but you know what? Israelis did some dirty stuff to the Palestinians too. And if somebody's going to say that's anti-Semitic because we're pointing those things out, then I think that's just I think that's a little unfair and a little hasty. It's the same line of reasoning that I would see with a black person who is do some sort of criticism when they do something wrong. A white person, let's say, for example, if he catches a black person doing something wrong and he says, hey, sir, ma'am, what you did was wrong, you can't do that. That black person cannot turn around, or they can if they want to, but they'll be doing it out of ignorance and stupidity. But they can't turn around and say, oh, white man, shut up. You just talking to me. You just trying to, you think you're better than me. You think you're my master. You're a racist. And that's the type of mentality I've been seeing a lot coming from the left a lot lately, especially on the part of white liberals. They now seem to be provoking this mentality that black people can't be racist. Blacks and Hispanics are I don't know, inherently above some sort of correction because of what we've been through in the past and stuff like that. And that's what I'm against. I think right correction should be brought to everyone when it's due, but you don't bring that type of correction towards somebody just because you don't like their ethnicity or I mean, their tradition shouldn't be attacked if they're doing something that is objectively immoral. You should only attack the person and the individual, not their race, not their ethnicity or anything of the sort. Oh, we got Rob here. Hey.
Hey, I wanted to come in to bring the white correction if I could. And
yeah, let's hear it.
I'm kidding.
Oh,
but all I would say is that if you get hired by a Zionist and you start speaking anti-Zionist stuff, don't be surprised if you get fired.
All right, so I take it that you feel that what Candace Owens said was anti-Semitic as well?
No, I mean, you can't make that de facto. But I'm saying, like, if I work for a guy who hates Jews, mm-hmm. and I start posting Israeli flags in my office,
right.
I can expect to get fired. The thing with Candace is that I was trying, before I came in, I was looking to see if there was any moment or a part where she condemned Hamas for what they did on October 7th. And I can't see anything. The only thing I found was like 1 month and a week after the incident in November, she had called Ben Shapiro. I'm surprised she was there as long as she was. What did she say about Ben? She called him. Where is it? She basically was saying that he was overblowing it. Like a month and a week after.
Overblowing what exactly?
Just the whole idea. In other words, I'm looking for the words that she used.
She wasn't talking about overblowing the attack, was she?
It was something similar. Let me find it. I just saw it and then I lost it.
I think I saw a video saying that Ben Shapiro didn't necessarily have an issue with Candace's personal views on things.
Hey, I'll be right back, guys. Talk amongst yourself. Right back.
Yeah, no worries.
I think you're right, because this was in November. You know, this is, and she said she was clamping down on Ben, and she wasn't let go. So it's been 4 months. Let me see. I'm looking for the exact word. Oh, here it is. In November 16, 2023, Candace Owens blasted Ben Shapiro as emotionally unhinged when he got first upset with her position on the Israeli, I get, what would you call it, occupation of Gaza. So, and he didn't fire her then. Let me see if I can find it. You know, take it with a grain of salt. It's the New York Post, and I can I'll put the link in the private. So, I mean, in the end, the only thing that makes it tinge of anti-Semitism is when there's nothing said in the other end, because what Hamas did was about as bad as it gets. They went into unarmed areas of unarmed Israelis, grandma's kids, party goers at a concert, and paratrooped in, motorcycled in, and just started shooting at random.
Yeah, a bunch of scumbags.
It was pretty bad. It was really bad.
Did you see any footage? I didn't see any.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, I had no desire to see it. Yeah,
it's stuff. It's ISIS level stuff. They just weren't chopping off heads. They were blowing people away.
Yeah,
bad stuff. Kids, and then after they would have killed the parent. There's one scene that I saw that was worse than anything. You didn't see any blood. They had killed 2 parents of these 2 kids, essentially toddlers. They kept the toddlers alive, and as their parents are dead in the other room, they just blew them away. They start putting them on their lap and bouncing them and kind of like teasing them. Just saying, it was just torturous, bad stuff. So the big question becomes, like, it's hard to be in any part. There's no right answer to any of it. That's the thing. But if we're going to, like, if Candace came out and was like, I get, and maybe she did, I just never saw anything. But if she said, I get why Israel's doing what they're doing, instead of just attacking Israel for what they're doing, then it would be easier to say, there's just no way she's an anti-Semite. But when it's spun a certain way, you kind of, you can't help yourself. Not that I don't think she is. I don't happen to agree with her on a lot of different things. I just think I wish that she was angry at Hamas and expressed it, and angry at the Gazans, even the innocent ones, for allowing their government to be Hamas. That's in the end, that's what they need to do, is they need to get rid of Hamas, but they're not. Don't free Palestine from Israel, free Palestine from Hamas. Right. And agree to a 2-state solution, and then we're all good.
Well, real quick, I want to share a video from a guy named Mark Dice. He's on YouTube. I've been following him for a few years, and he's pretty outspoken as well. He did a couple of videos about this issue between Candace Owens and the Daily Wire, and I want to play one of the videos because I think in this video he goes into a little bit of details as far as the background and what led up to the point of her getting fired, or I should say, of them parting ways. Because some people think that she was at the end of her contract and she utilized an opportunity to, what's the word I'm looking for? Put the straw in the camels that broke the camel's back, I guess, kind of thing. Because there was already tension between her and Ben Shapiro anyway, because she made some sort of comment regarding scripture, and he took it the wrong way and assumed that she was addressing him, he said something along the lines of, well, if you don't like working for the Daily Wire, you could just quit.
Mhm.
But the text, the passage wasn't her directing it towards him. She was just putting it out there. And then from there was this back and forth a little bit between
Well,
the two.
after he said she could just quit, she called him on her social media emotionally unhinged and unprofessional.
Yeah, she did say that. Right. Yeah.
That's the link that I posted.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And she wasn't fired for saying that.
Right. She wasn't fired. Right.
So let's look at Dice.
So here's Mark Dice. I like him. Maybe, he's not for everybody, but I like him. I think he's pretty stand up. Some of his delivery I would change a little bit, but anyway, I'm gonna play the video here. You guys, we'll just kind of go through it and bit by bit, see what you guys say. Here we go.
To the king of conservative media by the corporate controllers, the neocon establishment is remaining completely silent regarding the growing controversy over his company, the Daily Wire, canceling Candace Owens for simply disagreeing with his preferred foreign policy regarding one particular little country over in the Middle East. Of course, it's perfectly fine if anybody in the media trashes Ukraine and President Zelensky or Russia or China or Canada or any country around the world, but the most mild, reasonable disagreement or criticism with anything that Israel does, and then the conservative establishment starts engaging in cancel culture. You may recall last year, Jeremy Boring, the co-founder and CEO of the Daily Wire, posted a nearly 1 hour long video detailing their side of the story regarding the Steven Crowder Daily Wire beef, but regarding the cancellation of Candace Owens, which is actually a much, much bigger story with many more implications regarding manipulation of media, controlling of certain narratives, conservatives engaging in cancel culture when there's only reasonable and mild criticism of a certain foreign country. It's crickets. He was confronted about it, however, yesterday on a Twitter space, and I'll play that clip for you in just a moment. Twitter spaces are those audio group chats that live stream out conversations, and that Twitter space was started because of another can of worms that he opened by literally declaring that the phrase "Christ is King" is anti-Semitic. So the Twitter space was organized to discuss how absolutely idiotic and Christian phobic that is, but then he joined the space and was brought up to defend his position, and then he was confronted later about the elephant in the room.
Jeremy, what did Candace do that she deserved to be fired?
Well, I'm not going to have a conversation about Candace. When you run a business, you're not at liberty to have discussions about people that you fire. I know that everybody would like for me to be able to do that. I'm not able to do that.
Oh, so he did fire her. So it wasn't that the contract ended or that, she just wanted to go somewhere else. It was a firing. Interesting.
I'd like to ask a little bit more about Candace Owens being fired by the Daily Wire. I just want to preface this to say, I was an organizational psychologist for a while. I worked with a lot of organizations that were quite frankly larger than the Daily Wire in terms of, helping them with staffing issues, working through the employees to fire, things like that. Jeremy, I'm just wondering, and I guess I'm asking this as a yes or no question, did Candace Owens violate any specific policies at the Daily Wire? And I'm not asking you to tell us which policies. I'm just asking, was she fired because she violated a company policy?
I'm not going to make any comment about the Daily Wire separation from Candace Owens in this forum.
So that's no then. Just to be clear with everyone, that's no. She did not violate any company policies.
Well, we're not
a very sneaky way of ascribing to me an answer that I did not give.
If she violated a company policy, you would have been able to say yes to the question, Jeremy. I know that much.
Okay, so Candace is not here. This is not about Candace specifically. Let's have a conversation around the broader issue, though.
Now, if an employee at any company flew off the handle and started making racist comments, like actual racist comments or actual anti-Semitic comments, not just comments that are often just called racist or anti-Semitic, which are just, the most mild criticism or mentioning certain facts about certain things, then the company would fire them and then issue a statement and confirm, yes, this person made some terribly racist or anti-Semitic comments. We have a zero tolerance policy for that kind of stuff. But the Daily Wire will not say why they got rid of Candace Owens, because we all know why they got rid of Candace Owens, and they're hoping that this controversy just goes away because you're not supposed to notice this aspect of conservative media. And by verbalizing and confirming the obvious, they're just going to be adding fuel to the fire that they're hoping will die down. Matt Walsh went on a very unusual hiatus from Twitter over the weekend and didn't post about it or anything, which is very odd for him and most of the mainstream social media personalities who can't go more than 2 hours without posting their 2 cents over there about any particular topic. And of course, on his show yesterday, he completely avoided the elephant in the room and just stuck to talking about gender issues. Michael Knowles did his best to keep his job and his millions of dollars that the Daily Wire is paying him, while at the same time, at least, well, saying something about the situation, which you'll see, I'll play the clip in just a moment, is sad and pathetic. He is in a tough spot because not only does he want to keep his job over there and his millions of dollars, but he also is very good friends with Candace Owens' husband and the godfather to one of her children. So he felt his conscience was eating him away, and so he had to say something, and this was his statement.
Access to sound great. Yeah, this news just broke about, I don't know, an hour or two before the show started this morning. So Candace has parted ways with the Daily Wire. I forget how exactly they phrased it.
In the most pathetic way possible, with one tweet from Jeremy Boring, and then that was only retweeted by Ben Shapiro, so that there would be literally no statement that could be attributed to Ben about it.
I think Jeremy announced it on his Twitter and said the Daily Wire and Candace have ended their relationship. So I don't have some grand statement to make about that. I don't think it's my place as a host on this network to make some grand statement about it. You know, because this is a very personal business and a personal company, a particularly personal company.
Which is why we would think that you would express sadness about your own company engaging in cancel culture.
You know the relationships already. You know that I am a close personal friend of Candace and the godfather to her daughter. Her husband, George, is one of my best friends. And you know that I've been at the Daily Wire for a very long time, since the very early days. You know, Jeremy Boring is one of my best friends. Even Ben, I'm willing to admit in a moment of candor, is a longtime friend of mine, as are Caleb and all the other people around here. So, you know, always unfortunate when people go their separate ways, and that's life, I suppose. But that's really all I have to say about it. You know, I don't
appreciate you asking me this question. You think I'm going to bite the hand that feeds me?
If you were hoping for some grand, you know, epic speech on the future of media and the industry, I don't really have that.
Which is why people tune into me, your trusted independent media analyst. Just a guy in my kitchen on a laptop. So subscribe to my channel if you're new here. There's plenty more to come, so stay tuned. But obviously, you're not going to get information and analysis like this anywhere else.
And if you were looking for juicy gossip and tea spilling, not only would I be unwilling to divulge any of that, but I don't really have any to give you.
It's okay, Michael. Everybody knows. It's so obvious that nobody even needs to say what the reason was. It's one of those uncomfortable truths that stares everybody right in the face, but few are bold enough to dare acknowledge it. This guy, whose name is Andrew Klavan, who is, I would say, like the redheaded stepchild of the Daily Wire, doesn't really have that many.
Now, this part here, probably the crux of why I'm doing this live stream is because of this statement right here. So you kind of hear for yourself and see what he says, and then you know make your own conclusion, make your own opinion about why he says what he's about to say. So here we go.
Viewers, nobody really cares what he says. This is probably the first time most people even heard of him, but he did a rather lengthy video agreeing with the Daily Wire's decision to fire Candace Owens, saying that they did the right thing.
You know, that's a dog whistle. When you start to refer in this kind of clever way to certain group of people in Hollywood corrupting blacks, you're not allowed to then put on an innocent look and say, well, I'm just saying there's certain people, just a few, you know, it's not, I'm just saying, you know, you're messing with us. You're messing with us, and everyone knows it, and no one is fooled except those people who want to pretend to be fooled because they hate the Jews.
And then this guy who is ethnically Jewish but claims to be a Christian, which makes him, as some people say, a Messianic Jew. A lot of people don't understand. How can you be a Jew and a Christian? They don't understand that being a Jew means either an ethnicity or a member of a religion, Judaism, or both. Because most Jews identify themselves as ethnic Jews, not religious Jews, because most Jews are actually atheists. And not only do they not follow Judaism of the Old Testament, they don't follow any religion whatsoever. So this guy ethically is a Jew, says he accepted Jesus, but doesn't want Ben Shapiro to accept Jesus because, well, I'll let him explain.
Why do over 300,000 people love?
Oh, is this why?
It's fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's because of this.
No matter your style, we have a board for you.
There we go.
Damned white skateboard.
And you know, I understand this. All of you who love Ben, and I love Ben and Jordan Peterson, you all want to see them find Jesus because you know what joy and freedom that gives you, and you certainly feel that it alters your relationship with God. But when I think about this, to be honest with you, you know, and I know some people will disagree with this, but life is not a game show where you guess the name of God and you get to go to heaven. Honk, you know, yes, the name is Jesus. I look at Ben's life and I think if Ben were to embrace Jesus Christ, it would cause devastation to his family, to the people who love him, to the people who listen to him, to his position in the world. I just have this feeling that God has put this guy where he wants him to do what he wants him to do. And as you know, I feel that, you know, the Jews were not abandoned by God.
Actually, sir, Jesus specifically said that may be one of the consequences of following him. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're not going to enter into fellowship with the one true God.
Ben Shapiro doesn't even believe you have a soul.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, somebody wanted to say something.
I said that was such terrible theology. That was so stupid. That's the stupidest thing he said.
It almost reminded me of I think it's Francis of Assisi that said something along the lines of not preaching the gospel with words but with action or something like that.
Who are you talking about? The bald guy?
No, yeah, not Alex Jones, the other bald guy.
No, there was a no. What that bald?
No, I'm not.
guy,
I don't mean Alex Jones. I mean the other guy with the glasses.
Yeah, the other guy, Andrew Clavin. Yeah, he's
I never heard of him on the Daily Wire. I only watched Matt watch Candace, and I used to watch Ben until he, you know, became a Black Lives Matter activist. I mean, a Jewish Lives Matter activist, and just cry. I'm gonna be careful what I say because I don't want your stream to get demonetized. But
I don't think it's monetized anyway. But
the ADL is just crazy. I see all the. When did they start getting so sensitive? I guess they saw the campaign work for blacks. I guess so. They're like, let's hop on this train and let's cry victim like everybody else. You got the Stop Asian Hate. You got the Black Lives Matter. Now you got the Stop Jewish Hate. It's just like.
Well, this is something that's been. Well, I kind of touched on that a little bit earlier, not in full detail, but it talked about how it's mainly people who are, and it doesn't matter what you're black, you know, Jewish, or you know, whatever. It's just there's a certain group of people who just want to silence others who are rightfully bringing some type of criticism or scrutiny, you know, and that doesn't pertain to every individual within that group.
Well, obviously,
yeah. I mean, because obviously not all black people, you know, get on their feelings and they're sensitive.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you just want to correct me because you're a racist. You know, obviously not every black person thinks that way. And the same thing with the Jews. You know, however,
Ben Shapiro.
What happened to Ben Shapiro?
Yeah, what happened to him? Why did he become such a sensitive baby?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot
that's
of people are saying
unhinged,
that.
like
Yeah.
he said. Like he used to be Mr. I own the libs, facts don't care about your feelings. Now he's crying on the internet talking about he's scared of black women. Like, what's going on here?
When did he say he was scared of black women?
When did he say that?
That was a joke. That was a joke.
Okay.
Obviously,
Yeah. No,
obviously that's a joke.
we're very sensitive to that which directly affects us. So as Christians, if this was a Christian thing, and let's say that it was a church that Hamas paratrooped into and just started shooting grandmas and kids and the pastors, I think we'd probably be emotionally charged by it.
Let's
Right?
not act like Christians are not getting persecuted all around the world.
I know, but and we're pretty charged by it, aren't we? It's a big deal. And so in the case of Ben Shapiro, it's just the same thing. There's always something that's going to charge us a little bit.
So I need to be sad for every black person that gets shot, even if they do it to themselves.
No. But I mean, if you think there's an injustice done, and it's your prerogative, whether you're right, that's another thing. And so with Ben, who's one of the figureheads of the Daily Wire, it's kind of the reason why it kind of took off. I don't know what his ownership level is or stake. I'm not sure, but he's a bigwig there. I would figure that once again, when your bosses have a certain ideology and you go against that ideology, then there's going to be a problem. And like I said, within the month after the events that Ben was, emotionally charged by, October 7th, Candace was attacking him as unprofessional and these other things. But I see here, like, I didn't see any clips of it, so I'm just going, this is the Washington Post saying that this month, and maybe you addressed this already, Veckel, and I came in just a couple of minutes before I popped in. She said this month on her show that secret Jewish gangs terrorize Hollywood. Did you already address that?
Wait, who said that?
Candace Owens.
When did she say that?
It says this month. It's reported in the Washington Post. And recently, she favorited a tweet repeating a lie about Jews drinking Christians' blood. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so I mean, and I guess that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Not disagreeing with Ben on Israel, not calling him unprofessional and whatever the other word was in that link that I put in there. But I think showing signs of being a little yazy.
I wouldn't trust anything written in the Washington Compost, to be honest.
I'm not reading.
Well, that's fine.
I'm not believing any that comes from the liberal media complex.
Let's hear the quote. Let's hear the.
All right, I'm going to Google secret Jewish gangs.
Yeah.
Something about
at the risk of
Jews drinking Christian blood.
At the risk of committing a genetic fallacy, I do agree with Jill because these other outlets, they already have a hard stance against conservatives anyway.
Yeah.
And to me, it wouldn't surprise me if they would try to manipulate something she said to try to get people's emotions against Candace.
The rabbi?
But I'm not saying that that's, because I haven't looked into it myself.
I might have the actual quote.
But while you're looking that up, while you're looking that up, I just wanted to say real quick something I was going to say a few minutes ago. That what Andrew Klavan, the man who said that Ben Shapiro's family would be devastated if he turned to Christ, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, bad theology.
See, that reminds me of the type of preaching that I hear from some Christians who believe in what I call the friendship evangelism, where you don't say anything to your friends. You don't give them any type of hint that you're a Christian if you want to bring them to Christ. You just got to be a nice person to them.
I don't think that's what he's saying.
No, I know that, but I'm saying what he said reminds me of this quote here from Francis of Assisi: "Preach the gospel at all times. Use words if necessary."
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm against that line of thinking. I think Christians can be friends with, non-Christians and stuff. But I think though that there should be at some point in your relationship with these non-believers that they know where you stand spiritually, and if they ask you questions about things like abortion and same-sex marriage, the Christians should be bold enough to say, well, this is what the Bible says. This is what God says.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then on, you might springboard into a conversation about the gospel itself,
Yeah.
That wasn't really what he was saying there. I felt like he was saying that Ben is in a position that, and I know this as a Jewish person who became a Christian as well, is that I didn't have the same baggage because I wasn't close to an Orthodox Jew. I had my bar mitzvah and I was done. I never wanted to participate in any of that stuff anymore, ever again. And in Ben's case, he's an Orthodox Jew and he's committed a lot to it. It's the same reason why Nicodemus met with Jesus in the dark. It's
Right.
And so it happens today. And so I think the only point that he was making, I mean, I didn't hear the whole, I wasn't paying too much attention, but I don't think he was just saying, play nice. I think he was saying that God is doing good things through Ben, particularly as it relates to the position of Israel in the world, and converting Ben is not of the utmost important thing for him, I guess, in particular, is sort of what he was getting at.
See, that's where the debate could come in.
That's the dumbest thing, though, right? That's extreme. Converting him is not the that's entirely stupid.
Well, see, it's kind of a twofold position, because as a Calvinist, can say, with great positivity, that God can use anybody in any means He wants to display His truth to a people, to a particular people. And
he uses me. I'm a jackass.
Right. It may be in a fashion that we may find to be unorthodox, but the goal is always the same, that God's glory is going to be made known to those people, no matter in what fashion that God chooses to use any particular individual. But on the other hand, if we're going to talk about terms like the Christ is the King, or we're talking specifically about the gospel and Jesus Christ and these kinds of things with regards to its relations to Jewish people, I think a Christian should have the mindset that, like what I'm gonna call you, all might black guy.
Yeah, you can call me whatever.
I'll just call you black guy, as you got
All
that. Okay. The Christian mindset, when they're talking to the non-believer, their top priority, not their only, but their top priority, should see this person come to know Christ.
But if I'm
tough.
talking, if I just want to say, if Christ is King is anti-Semitic, then I'm going to be anti-Semitic. If you're going to get offended by that, hey, it's what it is. I don't care for Jeremy's.
But we're going to talk about that too. Yeah,
I'll put it in perspective. Sorry,
I don't care about him getting offended, but go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, the perspective I have, like I rent space from a Jewish guy. We talk theology occasionally. If I was hammering at him all the time, and I have a nice deal, it's a good deal, I would lose it, and I don't want to lose the deal. So I'm not going to hammer, and that's not to be at the expense of Christ. It's like, well, I also have to support my family, and there's certain wise decisions that I can make. And so let's look at the big scheme of things for that bald guy with the glasses. Big scheme of things is he has a job with the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire's purpose isn't to defend Hamas or Palestinians. It's to promote conservative ideals, right? And so one of a top conservative ideal is the preservation and protection of Israel, right?
Right.
It's big. And so when somebody comes out and they're leading to opinions that are contrary to that, it's bad for business. And so every one of us has to make business decisions wherever we are. And if you have a good job and you work for a non-Christian, to sit there and start proselytizing every day, we can go to Francis Assisi there. The best way to show what God's doing in our life is just to live, and people can see it and say, what makes Veckel tick, right?
Yeah, I disagree with you here, because if it was any other thing, like say if I was at a job and I knew this person had different pronouns, I would lose my job gladly over not calling this person whatever their pronouns are.
Okay,
So
gladly you said that, right?
I would have to disagree with you on that point that you.
I don't think you are. I mean, because you said you'd gladly lose it. You have the expectation that you could lose it. Like if you worked for a transgender person, or let's say a person who had a transgender daughter, and that transgender daughter comes in and you just go, I ain't calling you, and you get fired, you'll gladly get fired. That's fine. But, don't complain when you get fired. That's all I'm saying. I think we agree.
Because, I mean, well, the thing is, I wouldn't compromise my position as a Christian to appease someone is what I'm saying.
You don't have to.
Right.
I don't think. I mean, if you don't want to call the person by their pronouns, don't call the person anything.
It just sounded like I was just giving you pushback because it sounded like, I mean, obviously we got to be wise, but it sounded like it kind of come across a little compromisey. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, personally, I don't have a problem with pronouns. If somebody wants me to call them a kook face, I'll call them whatever they want me to. That didn't matter.
Well, I want to go to Jill. Jill, you started to say something about the article from the Washington Compost, as you put it. You said you wouldn't trust it. Could you talk a little bit about that real quick, and then I'll go back to the video.
Oh no, I just I don't trust the liberal mainstream media because they obviously lie every occasion.
Exactly, I agree with you 100%, brother.
So yeah, it's probably something she said, or maybe she was just a reporter who just reporting, and now that reporter's in jail. If it's Biden's family he's reporting about, so it could be one of those things.
Yeah, it was the Middle East Monitor Instagram thing where it's a video of Candace. I don't know if she's using the quote there or addressing it, so you could watch that. It's the link I put in the. I don't know if you're a part of liberal Instagram, Veckel.
No, I don't have an Instagram account at all. So
you might be able to see it still. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, let me go back to the video.
I see somebody posting on this thing too, and it's all it is Candace talking, and somebody put on there, if you're going to start posting anti-Semitic trash, expect to lose followers. Bye. So for me, it was probably more than anything else. It was the recent comments that she made. Because she wasn't fired, like I said, when she called Ben unprofessional and over whatever she had said before. So I think she pushed him over the line, and she's got Jewish bosses and pro-Zionist bosses, and you get what you get.
Is Jeremy Boring? Is he Jewish?
Who? It probably. Let me look. I bet he is. Is he the guy who's the owner?
Yeah, he's the owner of Daily Wire. I know he and Ben Shapiro are friends, but
I really want to get on this Christ is King topic because
me too.
Yo, bro, I'm telling you, bro, you ain't fit it. Like I thought we were free speech. Now y'all want to act like sissies. You want to act like Black Lives Matter. You want to act like everything offends you. You want to act like all white people are racist and stuff like that. Let's get out of here with that garbage, especially as Christians.
Who, me?
No.
Just
in general. Yeah, no, Rob. I'm just letting you know. If I had a problem with you, I would direct you. I ain't.
Oh yeah. Well, you'll have if we talk long enough, you'll have a problem. It's just a matter of time.
That's I'll
see Jill now.
I'll at you, as the kids say on Twitter. I'll at you.
At you.
Okay. It's all good.
Right, let me go with the video here. Here we go.
This is the final statement that Candace Owens made on what would be the last episode of her show. And even though it's very obvious what happened, even if you saw my previous breakdown of what happened, you definitely have to hear this.
I want to be clear to you guys. I'm going to be honest with you because everybody's noticing it. Every single political commentator in America, every single one of them knows this, that if you do not step out and say things that are radically pro-Israel, or if you are too quiet on certain narratives and they want you to be radically pro-Israel, you can lose everything. That's truth. That is a fact. I'm not feeling like I need to hide from that anymore or be afraid to say it, rather, is a better way to say it, because I've endured this for years. I'm just at the end of my rope. I have given so much rope here and I am just done with it. Every person that you are a fan of, they know this. Every person that you line up to go here speak, they know this. Again, it's not even on the basis of what you say. It can sometimes be on the basis of what you don't say. That an entire mob will assemble. They'll write piece after piece after piece until you subjugate. If you don't subjugate, the bounty grows larger. So yes, there was a large bounty on my head for the crime of refusing to suddenly hate Muslims and to condone Muslims getting bombed following October 7th. Everybody can see that.
Yes, we can. And let me address one little mistake that she made, or rather a big mistake, although she still would have gotten fired without a doubt if she hadn't slipped up and done what I'm going to show you. And also, too, I saw some comments from people saying, Steven Crowder was right about the Daily Wire. Steven Crowder would have fired her as well if she was talking like this and mentioning some of the other things that I haven't pulled up the clips for, but she has expressed her belief that there is, in her opinion, a certain kind of mafia operating in Hollywood. And that kind of talk, Steven Crowder would not have allowed it either. And the beef with Steven Crowder and the Daily Wire, I covered in 2 previous videos. The Daily Wire actually was very open and transparent about the policies, and that was industry standard. Steven Crowder was very deceptive in what he did there to try to leverage that deception in order to get him paid subscribers. Whole other issue. But Steven Crowder would not have tolerated what Candace Owens was doing either. I saw a few comments from some people claiming that Candace Owens agrees with a particular anti-Semitic trope and all this because she did like a tweet that had an actual trope in it, not like disagreeing with a Jew about the best flavor of ice cream, which the ADL will say is anti-Semitic. It was an actual trope. She didn't see that, however, because she only read the first sentence in the tweet and then immediately hit the heart button and then kept scrolling past that. And I can tell you, from somebody who reads a lot of comments and I heart a lot of comments in the YouTube comments section, I've seen times where I'll see somebody say something and I'll hit the heart button. And then fortunately, I keep reading and then they do go kind of off the rails. I'm like, okay, I got to unlike that thing because I can't let that be seen because the enemy is watching and cataloging all of my little mistakes. And so once you have so many eyes on you, you make one little slip up. They're going to use that and they're going to exploit it. And so I saw a couple comments from some people, you know, amplifying this claim that she agrees with this particular. I'm not even going to repeat it because you can just read it there on the screen. I don't want anybody to take me just reading that, take it out of context, and try to claim that I said that or that I agree with that. But she did, unfortunately, like a tweet which had this in it later in the tweet. And so she did not see that. She would never like a tweet that says that. She was agreeing with the first sentence of that post. But again, one little slip up like that, they're just going to grab it and they're going to brand you with it.
Yeah. If we're not going to trust the Washington Compost, we can trust Mr. Honesty, Mark Dice.
I believe Mark Dice. I agree with a lot of he said.
Okay, so that's why she was fired.
Well, I wanted to say this too, because I've every once in a while come across, you know, black people who are on the left that they behave in the same way that, you know, we could see, you know, guys like Mark Dice is accusing some people in the Jewish community.
Amen, brother.
You know, you know, just a little too sensitive when you have some sort of criticism or opposite thinking, if you will. I know as a black man, I've encountered many times where I've seen a black person who's is left-leaning black person, and they're in an argument or a discussion with a white person, and the white person says something that is true, and the black person might disagree with it, and the black person immediately resorts to accusing them of being a racist.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then when a guy like me who is trying to provoke critical thinking, I'm saying, well, why do you call this person a racist? You know, that kind of thing. And then immediately they resort to some form of emotionalism by saying, oh, look at you, Uncle Tom, you covering up for the white man, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So you don't even know that he's racist based off of what he said. So it usually comes to the point where I challenge people by saying things like, okay, how do you know that this person is a racist? Because in my mind, there's a difference between somebody saying something that is racially insensitive versus somebody actually being a racist. You know, to me, a racist has to be defined more than just this one snapshot of somebody slipping up and saying something stupid. I would have to see something more perpetual in nature.
And I think that's what happened. I think that they could have made that conclusion about Candace in November. They didn't. That was good. But after these two things, they had the reason to go, well, there's some evidence towards, and she's, and whether or not they're right or wrong doesn't matter. They're her boss. So she's at the mercy of her bosses. And, if she wants to stand on principle, like just a random black guy, which is fine, completely within both prerogatives. But you get the consequences of what you do. So, it's the same thing I do. It's tough. Some of the social media stuff that I do, I know it could anger a lot of people in my church. My wife is constantly filtering me. Thank God for her. But like, there's things that I say because I don't agree with some of the people that say in my church or in this chat room even that offend even like ultra conservatives, and it's like, well, and then they respond in kind. I could lose my my worship leading job from it if I take it over the top. So, and I don't, because I like leading worship at the particular church that I lead worship at. And I don't want to cause them to stumble either. So it's not just bending over backwards to not be Christian or to hide it in some way, or to not be honest or to hide it in some way. In general, I mean, like, and Jill knows in this room, at least, in general, what my political stance is, but it's more centrist than anything else now. If you met me 30 years ago, you wouldn't have let me in the chat room.
Oh no, we like to debate liberals, so that would have been fine.
No, I know, but there are people that get very, very emotionally charged by those issues. I generally don't, because I think it's a Christian's job to view those things as just another thing in the world. Doesn't mean you compromise God and his stance on anti-abortion, not murdering, his stance on marriage and all those things. If somebody asks, what does the Bible say about this? God approves it, right? We can't say, oh yeah, God's down with this.
Oh, obviously that'd be contrary. Yeah, that'd be contrary to the Bible. And I need to answer Bond real quick. He said, "Is the random black guy upset Candace got fired?" No, I could care less. I just want to know. We're just talking about it here. I believe it's just that, Daily Wire talks about freedom of speech and all that, and how they hate cancel culture. And like Mark Dash is saying in the video, they engage in it within themselves. So, I just find that
we all do at some level, though. I mean, not everyone is extreme. Like Veckel will let a free gracer in.
It's kind of tough though, man, because I do believe what Bond is saying. Yeah, I agree. I think that each entity has the right to do whatever they want with its own company.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I agree with that. You can fire me in Florida just because the wind blew the wrong way. Right. Like, you know what? The wind blew south. I didn't like that. Just a random black guy. You gotta go. And that's fine. I don't care.
Right. I think the real issue is whether or not we're trying to identify Candace Owens as an anti-Semite.
I don't.
That's the real. That's the real.
I never like to stretch that far because I don't know her personally, and you just have to go through. I think it's always an emotionally charged thing to just draw a conclusion about somebody you don't know, just because a couple of bad decisions that she made. But and so I would never label her that way. But she did enough to make her bosses think she was.
Also, she's rich. She still has her platform. I really don't care. I don't care if she got fired from them.
Yeah, and the thing was,
I really like watching Matt Walsh a lot. I just started to watch her, but I just don't care for Ben and his hypersensitivity right now. So
yeah, and the thing is, like that thing that you played of her, where she was saying like, "I'm done." That was on the Daily Wire, right? They played it. And it was pre-recorded, so it's not like they were so sensitive that they didn't let her get the last word.
Right.
That was a good move.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, and by the way, Jeremy Boring is not Jewish, but he and Ben co-founded the Daily Wire in 2000.
I knew that they both co-founded.
So yeah, if I worked for Ben, I wouldn't. He'd know that I knew Jesus. He'd know that I'd want him to know Jesus, but I wouldn't be hammering home at
It's
him.
funny because he have had people, great preachers like Vodi Bakum, and I'm sure he talked to.
Yeah, he had Vodi Bakum on there and John MacArthur on there.
Yeah, John MacArthur. That they told him about the gospel several times.
Oh yeah, and they made great points. I saw a couple of them.
And he just keeps rejecting it, but that's on him.
Yeah, well, I rejected it a long time too, so that's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Well, I want to get to this video. So we're talking about the term, the phrase "Christ is King." Are you guys familiar with that YouTuber name? I think his real name is John, but he has a YouTube channel called "What Do You Meme?"
Yeah.
You know, we know. Yeah.
I like him. Hopefully, you guys don't hate him.
I don't hate anybody. I can't have hate within my heart as a Christian.
I'm not a huge fan.
I'm not a fan.
He does have some good stuff.
Isn't he pretty liberal on some of the takes?
I don't think so. But then then judge me. You could say that about me, but I don't remember him being liberal.
No, I'm saying liberalish in his takes.
Maybe. Yeah, that's why I like
it. He does have a hint of liberalism, but I don't think
if you say something contrary to the Bible, that's when I have a problem. I'm gonna let you know, but I'm gonna not be like a jerk about it. I'll pray for you, I guess, afterwards.
It's a good attitude.
Right. It's good attitude, right? Let me play this video because I think this is kind of this actually has a chunk full of good stuff in it, actually, regarding the term Christ is King and why it's now all of a sudden being deemed as an anti-Semitic dog whistle. So
do you want to watch the whole thing before we comment?
Sure. If you feel the desire to pause it, feel free. But I'll go ahead and play it, and you guys let me know. Here we go.
Over a couple of tweets made by Andrew Tate and Sneeko, both tweets saying that Christ is king. But the reason for why they made these tweets probably isn't what you think. Let's talk about it. So yesterday on X, Sneeko made a tweet saying Christ is king. And only a few hours later, Andrew Tate tweeted saying, as a Muslim, it warms my heart to see the resurgence of spirited Christian declarations. Christ is king. And I pray Christianity regains its strength and protects its societies against the pervasive and constant erosion of morality by the devotees of Satan. If you accept everything, you stand for nothing. Now, this should be absolutely shocking to anyone that knows anything about their past. Both Andrew Tate and Sneeko recently converted to Islam and have both made countless insulting remarks towards Christians and Christianity.
I think Christianity is a joke. I think it's a joke of a religion.
I didn't really resonate with Christianity a lot growing up because it's like, it doesn't make sense to me to pray to a man. I don't want to submit to a man.
Now, even though a lot of Christian commenters were, of course, happy to see Andrew Tate and Sneeko tweeting that Christ is king, it still seems strange to me that both of them, on the same day, would be posting such bold claims about Christ when they believe Christ to only be a prophet and find Christianity blasphemous because it teaches that Jesus was not just a prophet, but God in human flesh. And given this, it seemed obvious that their tweets would enrage a lot of their Muslim audiences on X, who praise Tate and Sneeko every time they attack or say something negative about Christianity. So I decided to go to the comment section for confirmation on this, but I was still shocked at what I saw. On the one hand, of course, there were some negative comments from Muslims. Under Andrew Tate's tweet, this Muslim commenter wrote, Christ is not king. Jesus, peace be upon him, is a prophet, messenger, and servant of the one true king, God whom we refer to as Allah. And in response to the part of Tate's tweet where he says that he prays that Christianity regains its strength, this guy says, I pray that Christianity continues to weaken and that Islam continues to grow, and that shirk and kuffar replaced with tawhid, inshallah. Another Muslim wrote, it's Ramadan, have some shame. Another, no, Andrew Tate, Jesus is a messenger, will return as a Muslim, will preach Islam, not Christianity, and pray that everyone should get some knowledge so that they may be able to see the truth. And on Sneeko's post, Muslim commenters wrote things like, one of Allah's 99 names is the king. Don't associate Allah's name with his prophet Isa, peace be upon him. It is prohibited to do this. I sincerely advise you to delete this, my brother. Brother, delete this. This is not right. He is the prophet of Allah. How is he king when he is a prophet? But even though there were some negative comments from Muslims in the comment section, the amount of negative comments from Muslims were low. Actually, suspiciously low. Even Lauren Chin commented about this by saying, interesting that I have yet to see a Muslim person take offense to the whole Christ is King controversy. Some are even proclaiming it themselves, as she shared Andrew Tate's tweet. But still, after talking about Islam and dealing with so many Muslims throughout the years, I still found all of this to be far too suspicious. Things just weren't adding up, and I knew that there was some context that I had to be missing. So I called my friend David Wood to see if he could provide some clarity about what was going on here. And before I play that call for you, we have to take a quick second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Aura. In 2022, there were nearly 500,000 cases of identity theft reported, and last year, over 1 million.
Okay, I want to. I'm probably going to fast forward this part here, but this part here, when he's talking to David Wood, some of you may know who he is. I think he has a website called the answeringmuslims.org or answeringislam.org. I can't remember.
David Wood, you talking about?
Yeah, David Wood. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. But he runs the Apologetics Roadshow YouTube.
Right. Right. Yeah. He used that. Oh wait, he's back on YouTube now.
Yes, he is.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, there's something I want.
God, you got to get with it because he has one of the best channels on YouTube, man.
Oh yeah, I didn't know.
Apologetics Roadshow.
I agree with what Andrew Tate said, though, in his tweet. I like that he said that. I mean, obviously, I don't co-sign anything Andrew Tate has done, but I liked what he said because I shared some of the same sentiments with you, Vecco, privately about how I feel that Christians are just too punkish for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no Muslim should say Christ is king.
Yeah, that's weird. That's
God is Allah is king, not a man.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't believe Sneeko or Andrew Tate are actual Muslims. I
don't believe it either.
Not with their lifestyle, no way.
They're grifters. I mean, Sneeko is a cuck, and Andrew Tate is apparently a sex trafficker. So it is what it is.
Yeah, if you watch Sneeko in London at what do they call that corner? Speaker's Corner. He's useless. He's useless. He doesn't know anything about Islam.
Yeah.
All right, let me get to the point.
It's right there. I think right there. Yeah.
All right, and away we go.
What up, bro?
Yeah.
Hey, real quick. I was on Twitter and I saw Sneeko and Andrew Tate both posting Christ is King at the same time. And there was a lot of weird things that seemed to be going on. So I was kind of wondering if you knew why they were posting that, because it looked a little suspicious to me.
Brilliant strategy, but evil. This is parallel I can think of to how this is being used is Black Lives Matter. So the founders of Black Lives Matter were admitted Marxists. They were a group of trained Marxists who were trained to sell Marxism. Marxism wouldn't work well for a Western audience, but if you use a slogan, Black Lives Matter, which no one can object to, as a shield, you can block criticisms of your actual agenda. You have white supremacists doing the exact same thing right now. They're using Christ is King as a shield so that when you object to what they're saying, they say, oh, you're objecting to me because I'm saying Christ is King. The person I saw who was really kicking this off was Nick Fuentes. He has a group called the Groypers, and so they're these so they're constantly blasting Jews and trying to encourage hostility against Jews. They want a white Christian nation. That's what they want. So what these guys started doing is running around like harassing Jews. You filthy Jew, you filthy Zionist pig. Christ is King. Christ is King. Christ is King. And they just kept bombarding with that. And then when someone would respond, I go, oh, look, see, they hate Christ. All we're doing is saying Christ is King. What's wrong with that? See how angry they get when we say Christ is King? Lots of people falling for this because they see people warning them saying, hey, guys, be careful of this Christ is King stuff. You don't realize what this is being used for right now. And people are like, what? You're not going to get me to not say Christ is King. No, Christ is King. And meanwhile, you've got neo-Nazis giggling themselves silly that people are actually falling for this. So
okay, so just so I'm clear, so what seems to be going on is that Nick Fuentes and them have been chanting Christ is King as an attack basically kind of against Jews, right? And so because the hostility between Israel and Palestine and a lot of Muslims, and especially Sneeko and Andrew Tate, they've been talking about how they're anti-Zionism and anti-Israel, that sort of thing. So, and they have hostility towards the Jews. So they're using the slogan as a way to taunt the Jews. Is that right?
Yeah. So why would Andrew Tate and Sneeko, Muslims, all of a sudden be running around just on the same day, Christ is King, right? proclaim Christ is king, you have to be aware of how it's being used and what the actual purpose. Just like we should all believe, we should all agree, 100%, Black Lives Matter. That doesn't mean you have to fall for how the slogan is being used to mask an underlying agenda.
Well, that certainly seemed to make a lot more sense. And in congruence with David's point, this lady posted on X that Christ is King is being used as a dog whistle directed at Jews. She also included a clip and said that Nick Fuentes is chanting Christ is King with his followers after giving a speech about killing and going to war with the Jews. Now, I wasn't able to find the original video that she clipped from, so I wasn't able to verify her claims, but if she is right, this explains why so many anti-Jewish Muslims would be in support of the phrase Christ is King, something that obviously they've never chanted before. And if David is right, then Tate's tweets seem to be far more clever than Sneako's, because even though Tate is still trolling, he worded it in a clever way to avoid blowback and have plausible deniability. I mean, let's look at it again. He wrote, "As a Muslim, it warms my heart to see the resurgence of spirited Christian declarations, Christ is King." Now, of course, he seems to be saying this as a way to taunt the Jewish people that he's against. And then he moves into sneak dissing Christians for the same thing that he's mocked them for all along, being weak and not standing for anything.
Christianity is a joke. If you're going to be tolerant of everything and stand for nothing, then I don't think you have it.
If you accept everything, you stand for nothing. But here's something that I think that all of us can take away from this. Of course, the phrase Christ is King is not inherently anti-Semitic. Christians have been saying this since the time of Christ. However, if someone is using the phrase with racial intent or for their political gain, then it's sinful. From scripture, we not only know that Christ is King, but also that there's no difference between the Jew and the non-Jew, for we are all one in Christ Jesus. And because the phrase Christ is King is so important and sacred to us, we would never want to use the phrase as a weapon to hurt others or for some other worldly agenda. Instead, we only want it to be used as a matter of fact, while not allowing others to hijack the phrase for evil. And if you want to see what Andrew Tate and Sneako really think about Christianity, go ahead and check out one of these videos and they'll see you over there. But the next time you hear someone saying Christ is King and trying to hijack that for evil, what are you going to say?
Okay.
What do you mean?
Okay, shut up, bro. I'm almost be honest. Shut up, bro. I don't. You can't stop people from trying to hijack something and use it for something that's bad. It happens all the time. I'm not going to stop saying it. Now,
oh yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that reminds me.
It's happening literally all the time. And I also disagree with what that David guy said about the whole Black Lives Matter stuff. I ain't chanted then, not chanting it now. It's stupid. All lives matter as a Christian.
That's right.
The worldview is stupid, and they're trying to peddle a philosophy to us that we don't agree with. I'm not going to let you try to tell me what to say or how to say it. So Christ is King. Ain't my fault that these guys found a way to be anti-Semitic. It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, it reminds me of this passage in Philippians 1, where Paul is talking about different manners in which people preach the gospel. I'll start at verse 14. It says, "And many of the brethren in the Lord, waxing confident by my bonds, are much more bold to speak the word without fear. Some indeed preach Christ, even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. The one preached Christ of contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds, but the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. So what then? Notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached, and I therein do rejoice, yea, I will rejoice." So it sounds to me that what Paul is saying here is that you got some people here preaching the gospel out of contention, and others are doing it out of pure, unconditional love. They really care about people that they're preaching the gospel to. And despite who it's coming from, and even despite the motive, the message is still the same. And Paul seems to be saying he still rejoices, regardless of who it's coming from or how it's being delivered. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah.
I was going to say, it's just like how, you get atheists that get on the internet and mock us and say, and they preach the gospel, even if it's as a joke. Someone can still get saved from that. God can still use that. Just because they're doing it out of an area of hate, like they hate, apparently how atheists just hate Christians so much. But even if they were to mock it and to actually preach the gospel, they wouldn't believe that they are. Someone can still get saved from that. So I guess that's what that is. Also, that's saying what you just said, reiterating it.
That's some good old fashioned reform preaching right there.
Yeah, amen. So it doesn't matter. It's unfortunate, but hey, you got a bunch of people in a day and age where they're overly sensitive about literally everything. Literally everything.
Right. Okay, now Nick Fuentes was mentioned.
Oh yeah, he's a terrible person.
Yeah,
he's a terrible. Now, yeah, I forgot to talk about. I'm glad you brought him. Yeah, he's a terrible person. He's racist, all that. I don't agree with anything he says.
Right. So his name was brought up regarding this phrase, "Christ is King," and again, yeah, as you, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think he's a white supremacist. I don't really think he cares about all Americans. I think he has a specific agenda that has the veneer of Christianity over it. So it's kind of the same way that Disney or movie studios would try to put homosexuality in kids' movies, and they'll put a homosexual character as some sort of other ethnicity, like Black or Hispanic or something like that. So that if you do have criticism against the homosexual element of it, they can then say you're being racist because the only gay person in the show that you have an issue with just happens to be Black or Hispanic. So therefore you're racist, even though you're addressing the homosexual element, but not the racist element.
Let's think BlackRock and Vanguard. We got to say thank you to them for ushering all this, DEI mumbo jumbo.
Jill, look what Kevin said about me. Yeah, because he heard me say reform. He said, "No, you mean deformed." I love you, Kevin. Love you too, brother. Anyway, yeah. So we're gonna play a little clip here where you see Nick Fuentes and them actually chanting "Christ is King," and it just looks so cultish. It doesn't look like they really care about, the
By the way, is this
gospel
lady
out there.
Christian?
Oh yeah, she's Christian. And not only that,
Oh,
but
so I should slide in her DMs. Is she married?
Yeah, by the way, she is also reformed. Uh-oh.
Wait, is she actually?
Yeah, she's reformed. She
Wait,
has
is she married?
Yeah, she just had a baby 2 years ago.
No!
Yeah.
I can't covet thy neighbor's wife.
Yeah, she's married. She's got a baby, and she is reformed. Yeah, so she's the real deal, man. She's the real deal.
You wouldn't hear a woman that's single and reformed and pretty.
I know, right? Yeah, there's got to be something else wrong with her. Something. Maybe she has a bad case of halitosis or something. I don't know, man. Something wrong with her. Yeah. Here she goes. We're gonna play a video, and she's gonna play a little clip of Nick Fuentes and his what are they called, the groupers, the gropers, saying Christ is King.
I hope it's not the gropers. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? They can't call a group of gropers without Biden being amongst them in some way, shape, or form. But
he'll sniff your child.
That's right. He'll sniff the hell out of you. Okay, here we go.
Besides her just declaring something that is true. Now, we can talk about what was meant when she used Christ as King in relation to the conversation about or with Ben Shapiro, but I'm not sure exactly what she would say about that. Maybe one day she'll come on the show and we can break this all down with her. But some people did see that Christ is King that she says as a retort to Ben and his Jewishness. I don't think that she would accept that interpretation of what she said, but that is how it was interpreted by many people. Partly because of the association that the phrase has with someone named Nick Fuentes. Now, this is not someone I have probably ever talked about on the show before, but there's really no way around talking about him when it comes to this subject. And so this is how the Christian Post describes him, and I'm sure that he would probably take issue with this description, but this gives you just kind of an idea. Nick Fuentes is an American radical far-right political commentator who has become well known for his anti-Semitic, racist, and Holocaust-denying statements. He has been kicked off of all major social media sites, including Elon Musk's newer pro-free speech version of X, for his extreme rhetoric. He does have a Rumble page. He is the founder of the America First movement. He describes it as the synthesis of traditional values, Trumpian populism, and American nationalism. So here are just some examples. Now, he would probably say that these were jokes, but this is part of why he has been kicked off and why he is seen as extreme. Fuentes on video has jokingly compared Jews to cookies baking in an oven while trying to say that the math doesn't add up to the 6 million Jews killed in the Holocaust. In an August 5th podcast episode, since removed from YouTube but reported by Right Wing Watch, he referred to Daily Wire columnist Matt Walsh as a Shabbos Goy race trader because he works for Jews. Ben Shapiro at Daily Wire. Fuentes added, yeah, okay, keep typing on twitter.com, FAGGOT, and then says that again, race trader, you work for Jews, you know. So Nick Fuentes has a history with Ben Shapiro. He was kicked out of a Turning Point USA event in 2019. He proceeded to harass Ben Shapiro, who was walking into the event with his family. Elijah Schaefer and Andy Ngo are with Fuentes documenting what's happening. So here's shot one.
Ben, it's great to see you. Why did you give a 45-minute speech about me at Stanford? And you won't even look
Hey, he's with his kid.
Come on, I'm
Hey,
right
hey.
here. Hey, let him cross. I know you're with his family, but I can't get to anywhere else. A 45-minute speech? Wow. Well, that's our free speech warrior, everybody. Champion of the battle of ideas.
Okay, so that's him. He is walking with his family. That's awful. That's awful. That's awful. That is like one of the worst things that you can possibly do. Ben is with his little children and with his wife. And so that's Nick Fuentes kind of harassing him. But it goes back farther than that. I'm pretty sure their first run-in was in 2018. And Ben Shapiro, I think, called him an anti-Semite for something that he said at the time. So that's who Nick Fuentes is. And we also have a video of him kind of telling his views of what is wrong with quote unquote Jewish power in the United States. And then again, using this Christ is King chant.
The word is getting out that we got to get rid of Jewish power in America. We are here to say that America is not a Jewish nation. America is a Christian nation. Well, and it only makes sense. If Christ is the king of the world, then Christ must be king in America, must be the king of America.
All right, so
okay, so
I didn't realize how hateful he was to approach a man with his family. He lucky that he didn't put his son down and popped him in the mouth.
I know, right?
Crazy.
I know, man. That's insane.
That was Vody. He would have walked up on him like that.
See,
I tell you that.
now, I guarantee you that the rabid, foaming at the mouth atheists would look at a guy like Nick Fuentes and say, and they would love to jump on that opportunity to assume that this is what Christianity actually teaches. This is what this type of the way he's trying to provoke people like Ben Shapiro. This is the essence of Christianity. This is what the tenets express for it. Christianity's adherents to behave like.
Yeah,
and you and I both know that that's not the case at all.
Yeah.
So what Nick Fuentes is doing here is just he is unnecessarily trying to provoke people to anger when we're not supposed to do that. You remember what the text says? I think it's Peter, I can't remember, or Timothy, talks about being persecuted. If we're going to be persecuted, let us be persecuted for preaching the gospel, not for breaking the law or even provoking people to anger. You know, and I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what it's saying. So if we're going to face any type of persecution, you know, from the law of the land, let it be because of our allegiance to Christ, not because we're trying to shove our morals down people's throats and demanding them to put their child down for a second so we can have a discussion with them. You know, what Nick Fuentes is doing there, that method is unbiblical. It's unbiblical. I would say, hey, Nick, do you really care about Ben Shapiro and his family? Do you really care about this salvific status? Does Christ really take precedence over your political stance in the country? Because I do agree with the concept that Christ needs to be king in the United States. Yes.
What you want a theocracy is what you're saying?
Right. Well, we'll see there.
I heard it explained that we don't. I mean, a theocracy would be trying to make this place you know.
Well, I want people. I want God to bring people to the Son by whatever means He desires. Right. Mm-hmm. And do I want to live in a land where abortion is illegal? Yes. Do I want to live in a land where, you know, as far as
I agree. Let's like stuff like that. I mean, we can't murder people. You can't rape people. So
right.
Let's keep abortion, you know, illegal. Let's do that as well. And also, if you do get one somewhere else, let's prosecute.
Right.
You. And,
I don't want to force people to believe in Jesus Christ though either. So I don't want to put that kind of pressure on anybody. You know, I think that's God's job to do the converting. But as far as morally speaking, I think, you know, I think the statutes that Christ gives us in the Bible, I think those are superior to the secular, to that of the secular mind.
Well, I mean, we know that the world stole from the Christian worldview, obviously.
Oh yeah. We
if I can jump in there. So
hey, I'll be right back. Go ahead. Keep on.
Yeah, the world stole from the Christian worldview. Don't you think Christians kind of stole from the Jewish worldview first?
Wait, what?
You said that the world stole from the Christian worldview. Don't you think the Jews came first and Hindus before that? That's kind of the pot calling the kettle black. Do you know what I mean?
How would we steal from something that's part of our Bible?
Yeah, black mass.
I mean, the Torah is a part. The Old Testament is a part of the Bible. It's the whole counsel of God.
But you're saying the entire world stole from the Christian worldview. You realize that Jews were around first. Hindus were around before Jews.
Do you realize Jesus was a Jew?
The world didn't steal from the Christian world.
Do you realize Jesus was a Jew and his followers were Jew?
Yeah.
Oh, okay then. So what's your point?
I really don't understand.
How do you steal from yourself?
The Old Testament is a part of the New Testament, and like I said, it's the whole counsel of God. So, and I'm talking about currently when America was established. Was it not?
What about Hindus? Did they steal from the Christian worldview as well?
I'm going to answer this. I'm going to answer this very concisely. Yes, because God's written His law on every man's heart, so that's why they know right from wrong. You feel me?
So the Hindu, a religion that was around thousands of years before Christianity, stole from the Christian
worldview. Your name
worldview.
said Walhart resurrected. Are you not Christian?
No, not so much.
Was it around before the Old Testament?
Well, Hinduism.
Was it around before the Old Testament?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah, thousands of years before the Old Testament.
So
it's the oldest religion.
Well, how did people thousands of years later steal from them?
That's what I'm saying. They didn't. You can't say that Hindus stole from the Christian worldview when Hinduism was around thousands of years before Christianity.
Okay, so
that makes no sense whatsoever.
Doing good, bro. It came from God.
I mean, that's.
Did the Christians steal from the Hindus if they lived 1,000 years later?
I didn't say they stole from the Hindus. I'm saying the Hindus definitely didn't steal from the Christians, because Hinduism was around thousands of years before Christianity. How do you steal from something that doesn't exist yet?
But did it exist before Moses?
So no one stole from anyone. Okay, good.
Okay, when I made that statement, I'm talking about just, society in general has stolen from the Christian worldview in general. They have taken a lot of things that the Bible has said and applied it to society as rules, as into how you're supposed to live your life. As in, like, that you can't kill, murder, rape, it's just all that type of stuff. Things that are good as in for a society to function.
I would agree with that.
I'll give you one that's a little bit more focused or derived from Judeo-Christian ethics, and that's marriage. That's why you can't have 4 wives, Walhart.
For what? 4 wives?
You have 1 wife.
That's from the Genesis,
That's from the Christian worldview. That's not from your worldview, certainly.
But it's not from Judaism, is it? Because how many wives did Moses have? How many wives did... it was more than 1, wasn't it? So is that just Christianity? It's certainly not Judaism.
Moses, how many wives did Moses have?
Yeah, it was more than 1. I can tell you that.
I think you're maybe speaking.
No, he did.
I don't remember. I have to read Exodus again. I don't even think it talked about his wife.
That's what you see people doing in Scripture is just a reflection of the culture, but God already commanded them what to do.
Solomon had multiple wives, but God never was pleased with it, right? Just because, like he said, just because it happened in the Bible doesn't mean it's something that God co-signed.
Oh, yeah, no, Miriam and Aaron were jealous because Moses had 2 wives. Because more of his attention would have been
Moses is not the standard. The standard is given in Genesis.
I'm just saying, you're saying you can't be a Christian if you have more than 1 wife.
I said that ethic came from the Christian Bible, Genesis. 1 man.
That would be the Talmud or the Old Testament.
Well, see, the Bible is a story of a bunch of infallible men and God saving them from who they were.
But that's not Christian. Moses wasn't Christian, was he? He was Jewish.
Well, Christ wasn't even there. Christ hasn't even came then, so obviously not.
Yeah.
Moses was a man who God loved and saved and used.
Yeah. I think we're agreeing in a roundabout, not agreeing kind of way. Moses was Jewish. He had 2 wives.
Moses is not what gives you the wives. That Moses doesn't set the standard for how many wives you should have.
Yeah, I was just
going to say
that. God set he set the standard, and I think was it Genesis 1:26? No,
but he didn't set it. He didn't set it for Moses, did he? If God set the standard.
Okay, so
having 1 wife and Moses had 2 wives, then he didn't set the standard for Moses, did he?
Has to do everything perfectly according to the standard.
David killed a woman's husband so he could have her, but that doesn't mean God co-signed that. Like the Bible, these are imperfect people that God are using. These aren't the standards. God isn't telling you to go kill if you like another man's wife to covet after her and to go kill him. That's not what's happening. Like he said, God already set the tone in Genesis. He said a man will leave his mother and cling to his wife and become 1 flesh. I think we're talking over each other and you're not following. Just because something happened, you're saying doesn't mean that's the standard. Just because Moses accidentally killed somebody, don't mean we can just be out here doing things like that or whatever.
Yeah. So you're saying in Genesis, God sets out the plan or the moral that you should only have 1 wife. But all I'm saying is Moses obviously didn't follow that rule. I'm not saying that God didn't. I'm just saying that Moses.
David didn't follow a lot of
Moses.
And speaking of Moses, he didn't even get to go to the promised land in the first place. So he messed up, and God punished him for that.
Yeah.
Like he punished the people who made a golden calf when he went up to the Mount Sinai to get the 10 Commandments, and he came down and he was like, "Hey yo!" And then God swallowed these people up.
Dropped them.
So just because something happens in the Bible doesn't mean it's a cosign. It's showing us what not to do. So I mean, once again, God set the tone in Genesis for what marriage is.
Yeah, no, all I'm saying is Jill said that Christianity teaches that you should only have one wife. I'm just saying that
that's true. Yeah. That's what it teaches.
I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying that Moses was Jewish, and he obviously didn't follow that.
Genesis teaches that.
From Genesis.
Genesis teaches.
So Moses lived
Torah
after Genesis, didn't he?
He would have been following Torah.
Moses lived after Genesis was written, didn't he?
Yes.
All I'm saying is Moses didn't follow the rules. If Christ wrote down in Genesis that you should only have one wife, and Moses had two wives, then he wasn't following the rules.
And this is the perfect segue to the gospel, because we're imperfect people, and Jesus is perfect, and that's why he came to bore our sins on the cross.
And it's no coincidence, I would say, that we're actually having this discussion a few days before Resurrection Day. So it's actually pretty appropriate. Yeah.
Oh, is it nearly Easter? Cool.
Yeah. It's tomorrow's Good Friday. I'm actually trying to find a good hopefully a church is preaching or doing something. I'm trying to find a church that's doing something, because I want to go to church.
Find some fish.
Huh?
Hey,
let's find some fish.
Yeah. Find some fish. Oh my gosh, that's right. Tomorrow's Friday.
Yep.
My goodness, man. If you guys are trying to look for fish, man, you better get in line, because you know those places are going to be bought up, man.
I'm still trying to figure out, Vecco, this Nick Fuentes guy, how he can be a white supremacist if he's Mexican.
Wait, Nick, no, you're lying.
Nick Fuentes, I think, is actually identified as Hispanic. I think
he's Mexican.
No, he's not. You're lying.
He's one of the Caucasian.
Yeah, look it up. He's Mexican.
Yeah, I think he is identified as Hispanic.
That's why his last name is Fuentes. That's not a white supremacist.
That's racist.
Fuentes.
Wait. So is this a
Mexican
master
name?
troll? He's trolling all white supremacists. He's like,
it's very difficult to be a Mexican white. It's very difficult to be a Mexican white supremacist.
But Wildheart, they said the same thing about Larry Elder. The newspaper referred to him as the white face of the black face of white supremacy.
Yeah.
These people,
they love them some black folk, but if you're a conservative, oh man, you're just another one of those.
They want you to be ignorant and dumb and vote for them and vote bro.
Make you a racist regardless of what. You could be an albino.
Yeah. Well, they did the same thing about Ben Carlson. They called him a white supremacist too.
Yeah.
No, man, I hate how black people are so fragile. All these people are so fragile. It's like what Mark Guy said. Black fragility is insane, bro.
Yeah, black.
Bro, I
fragility.
I go on TikTok. I see black people crying about all types of things. Obviously, not all our people are. I don't even need to say that. I'm black. I don't care. I'm criticizing my people. They need to stop.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you said that. I want to play a video. Not this one, but I do want to play this one as well. This is a very short video, because we're talking about the term anti-Semitic and about how people try to utilize that word in order to silence people when they're due for some sort of criticism that is just. This is a video here. It's an old video. I don't know how old this video is, but I've seen this many years ago on YouTube and some other places as well. And I was just reminded of it today. So I definitely want to play it just in case you guys haven't seen it. It's really short. It's about less than a minute long. So here we go.
Oh no, we're embarrassed.
Stupid
Our warehouse is
commercials.
overloaded with survival food kits.
Hold on, here
but our
we
mess
go.
is your game.
You see this black box right here? I'm going to show you something
another
right now.
commercial. Here
Some
we
people
go.
are concerned that they might have to go.
Often when there is
dissent expressed in the United States against policies of the Israeli government. People here are called anti-Semitic. What is your response to that as an Israeli Jew?
Well, it's a trick. We always use it. When from Europe somebody is criticizing Israel, then we bring up the Holocaust. When in this country people are criticizing Israel, then there are anti-Semitic. And the organization is strong and has a lot of money. And the ties between Israel and the American Jewish establishment are very strong, and they are strong in this country. As you know, they have power, which it's okay. They are talented people, and they have power, money, and media, and other things. And their attitude is Israel, my country, right or wrong, the identification. And they are not ready to hear criticism. And it's very easy to blame people who criticize certain acts of the Israeli government as anti-Semitics, and to bring up the Holocaust and the suffering of the Jewish people, and that justify everything we do to the Palestinians.
Ooh-wee. Did you guys hear that? Very curious to get you guys' take on what was just said.
Yeah, I heard that.
So, but see, it reminds me of what Negroes do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Negroes do the same thing. Mm-hmm. You know, you especially if you're not black, you white person, and you calling out something a black person does that was wrong, and it can be demonstrated as something that was wrong.
Yeah,
you say you just got to lift up the black card or the race card and say, I white man.
You can't say something to me because it's systematic racism, and black people don't have the power structure to be racist because you guys brought us over here and blah 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 blah. It's like, shut up. We are the most.
I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to comment on this. I'm treading very, very light.
You could have an opinion on the black.
You could have an opinion, man, especially on my channel,
bro. Especially here, bro. Matter of fact, I speak up for white men because they're if anybody's attacked, it's them. They get attacked by everybody. Especially today.
Now, speaking of which, here's a video I stumbled upon today. But many of us here have heard this argument before. Black people cannot be racist. How many of us have heard that? That's so.
It's on Twitter everywhere.
Oh, okay. Gosh, I can't believe there's that many stupid people in this world.
It's on all on TikTok that black people.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't care who you are. Black, white, doesn't matter what race you are. If you say that black people cannot be racist, you're an idiot.
A liberal white woman would tell you you're wrong.
Yeah, and in fact, that's exactly what you're going to see in this video right now. Here we go.
A liberal white woman. Let's go.
You claim that you can have a black friend and still be a racist. How is that possible?
Because proximity to blackness is not a shield for not engaging in racism. I mean, that's why people say like, "Oh, my black friend," as some sort of token, you know, or there's some sort of racialized prop. I mean, and people are on a spectrum in terms of where they are with their racism. But what I am trying to say is that just because somebody has a black friend, a black child, a black spouse, that they have a black doctor, that they may have a black boss, none of that.
Yep.
You notice the background? Does she have a proximity to blackness herself?
I mean, she looks very racially ambiguous as well.
Who, her?
Yeah.
You think she could be light-skinned?
Is she, or is she a white woman? I can't tell.
I think she's a white woman.
Pretty white. Yeah.
Yeah. She looks white.
Okay. Like, how is she going? You hear like the tone in her voice as she talked to a black man about this? That's crazy.
Yeah, she
can just say that I have one black friend and one homosexual friend. Therefore, I can never be accused of being racist or homophobic. That's the only reason I have them as friends.
She said that just because you have a proximity to blackness as if we exude some sort of, black venom, sort of.
Jill,
like
you know what I hate? You know what I hate about this?
blackness.
It's so stupid when they talk like this. I had a point in my head and I
A
forgot.
white liberal for you.
It's just I don't know. I can't remember it. Anyway,
Look at the book she's got in the background. Take a look at. She set this up perfectly.
Yeah, black race. I know it's race rules.
Yeah,
we're black friends.
Okay. You know what, Wild Heart? You need to repent for your whiteness. You need to repent for that.
Yeah, repent of your whiteness, Wild Heart. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, Jesus.
Turn to Christ and watch your skin. Watch your increased melanin. Yeah.
You'll be black in no time. You know.
What's happening, man? I said, "Whoa, what happened to you?" I don't know, man. I just put my faith and trust in the Lord, and next thing you know, I became a nigga.
I voted for Joe Biden because he said if I don't, I'm not black. So I had to do it. I didn't want to lose my black card.
That's right.
I did not want to lose my black card.
That's right. Yeah, don't lose your black card. Oh,
wait, what happened to the video?
Okay, let's get out of there. All right, here we go.
That means that they're, inherently not going to engage in racism just because they happen to know, love, appreciate, work with, live amongst black people.
And so if a black man or woman had a black husband, black wife, black children, white husband, white wife, white children, blah, 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 would that black person still be a racist?
It's possible for the white person to still be a racist.
No, the black person. Could the black person be racist as well?
No, because I don't believe that black people can be racist.
What's wrong with you?
So let me explain that.
What's wrong with you? Tell me what's wrong with you.
There's nothing wrong with me, but I think there's a distinction between racial prejudice and racism.
You have a degree, don't you?
I have several degrees.
You are proving my point.
Let me finish my.
Okay,
let me finish my statement. So I believe that everyone is racially prejudiced. Okay, I think we prejudge people all the time, whether someone's male or female or tall or short or American or not American, black, white, whatever. We're judging people all the time, right? Humans inherently judge. And then when we get to race, everyone judges other people based on race. So we are all possess racial prejudice. But to me, here's the distinction of when you go from racial prejudice to racism, is that you need to have societal power. And as a group, black people don't have the same kind of societal and institutional political power.
Listen to this stupid, overeducated white woman talk about things she knows nothing about.
It's garbage.
This is the problem I run against with these black, white. It's only black and white. It's so annoying for you. First of all, stop speaking on my behalf. Stop speaking on my behalf. Stop trying to tell me, you poor black man, you just don't know what you're talking about. So, just move over the side and let me handle this for you. Like,
I had a black
complex. Like, get out of here with that.
I don't know if you guys remember that one stream. I had a black, I don't know if he was a pro-black individual, if he was black Hebrew Israelite or something else, but he was definitely pro-black.
Blickety black.
Blickety black, right. And we had a discussion about racism, and he tried to use the same exact definition as the lady in the video did. Exactly. And I showed him right here on the screen. I said, you're only referring to the second definition, but look at the first definition. A belief or doctrine that inherent differences among the various human racial groups determine cultural or individual achievement, usually involving the idea that one's own race is superior and has the right to dominate others, or that a particular racial group is inferior to others. This pertains to anyone of a particular ethnicity.
Well, Vecco, stop. Vecco, stop. You got to understand.
Oh, wait, well, y'all realize, right, what that woman just did. If she is saying that, how do I want to say it? If she's saying that this is not so for black men and women, that they are discriminated against, does she not realize she just admitted that she thinks the white race is superior by default?
Yeah, they don't realize that. That's how retarded
Guys,
some of these
hold
people
on.
are. But go ahead.
Stop it. You guys don't understand. Well, Veckel, you and Jill, you should understand that we have generational trauma in our blood and in our bones. These people cannot understand that we have generational trauma, and we're trying to break free from that and let the white man, like this guy who just joined, this Presbyterian.
Now listen here, you ableist bigot.
Notice that also, I would also note that the second definition didn't exist 5 years ago.
Exactly. See. Oh, one thing. I'm gonna touch on this real quick.
15 years ago to be safe, because
I say to them,
I hate the change of modern the modern change of definitions so much. It's so annoying.
it's annoying.
Like people just changing everything. We like the definition of woman, racism, power, all this. It's just so stupid.
The definition of a woman is now whoever feels like they're a woman.
Is it? I like it.
You know, I mean, can you imagine? You know, I don't know about you, but I didn't wake up one morning, make 6 surgical scars on my body, and decide, yeah, I'm gonna walk funny. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Well,
you know what? I think I'm also going to try to, milk the system. Yeah, I'm going to do stuff that's going to get me investigated for fraud. Yeah, because that's what I want to do. No.
Well, the Bible does teach that if you confess with your mouth, so there you go. That's the whole.
So what you're saying, Jill, is all I have to do is confess with my mouth, and therefore I believe in my heart. So if I confess really, really hard,
don't you guys start with me.
But hold on, I can finally be the gay black Muslim of my dreams.
Free trans grace, as you believe in your
dude. Well,
it's a free trans grace.
Thank God that Sky Out has repented of his transgender cross-dressing, right? But I kept laughing the whole time they would condemn him. It's like, dude, he professes faith. How are you telling him that he's unsaved? You see what I'm saying?
I gotta show you this one, Veckel. This one, but you guys know who Prime Time Tom 99? Not Prime Time. Man, what is his name? I can't remember his name.
Prime Time. I think I know where you're going. I try to remember the name.
Time. This is his buddy, though. They did a little cameo together. This is.
Stein.
No,
Stein.
this isn't Stein.
Alex Stein.
This isn't Stein.
Oh, it's not.
No, this isn't.
Okay.
I can't remember his name, but I think he calls himself Cassidy. But he's another one. He goes into these board meetings. These city council meetings. Any citizen can sign up to speak.
Oh, is this the guy that trolls?
No. No, not Alex Stein.
Give you like 5 minutes. So.
Hey, what up, my white racist oppressors? My name Brian. I'm 2% black, and I'm gonna be speaking on the new airport that.
He comes up to
Joe, I'm gonna laugh if he uses the N-word.
He came up to the city council meeting.
Just hold on a minute.
Let me play this again.
The way he got a do-rag.
He came up and said, "My white suppressors." Hey, what's going on, my white suppressors? It's 2 black people on the panel. Wait, 3. Oh, she light skinned it.
Yes, she light skinned it.
2, 3. And he walks up and says, "What's going on, my white?"
Remember, if they're red bone, if they caramel or light skinned, then they white. They don't count.
Yeah. Well, he black. She
black. Yo, play this again, please.
Hey, what up, my white racist oppressors? My name Brian. I'm 2% black, and I'm gonna be speaking on the new airport that is gonna be in McKinney, Texas, which I'm in favor of. Now let's get into it. The airport.
Can you pause this for a moment?
International Airport.
So here's what I want to know. Just a random poll. Say that you gentlemen met this man in the street. You don't know anything about him. I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you think he's white? Yes or no?
Yeah, he's black. He's black.
He
got
could
the
be a
do-rag
very, very
on.
light skinned
I mean,
mulatto.
I have seen, you know, of the rapper. If Logic can claim to be black, why not?
What I'm saying is, if I saw this dude in a do-rag acting like he's from the hood, he looks like a white dude to me.
Yeah,
I don't look at him and think light-skinned black dude. I think, why are you trying to be something that you're not? You're a white dude. You're not black.
Bro,
Well, he's trolling. So he's
you
he's
can't
like he's a white black BLM activist.
Yeah.
So he's trolling. This is actual city council in McKinney.
And also, you
So
can't
this is
deny
not-
his 2%. If you 2% to the cops, you black. You know?
Never mind the fact.
One drop rule, right?
2%, you know, you 2% black, and the 98% of the rest of you is not black. Oh, but we don't care about that.
At one of these meetings, he pulled out his kids. He said, "Y'all want to see a picture of my kids?" And he pulled out this long picture frame holder, the ones that you can fit in your wallet. You fold it up,
and it rolls
and it was
out,
like 20 kids.
Dang.
Oh,
He pulls it out of his wallet. I think you're going to only show one or two. He pulls out this whole roll, this long roll.
So basically, what you're telling me is that the fact that he can't be a responsible father proves that he's black.
No, bro, he's a character.
No, but you see what I'm saying? Like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So you're trying to say you can't be a responsible father, that makes you black. No, that just means you share in common with irresponsible black fathers that you're an irresponsible, bad father.
Yeah.
Well, let's go with the rest of the video. I want to see the rest. See how this folds out. Yeah.
Airport to honor a hero who served as a security guard in the Salvation Army. The airport will not only be not racist, but it will be anti-racist. Airport terminals will be named the following: George Floyd, Jacob Blake, Dan Taylor, and her boyfriend, and after the greatest mayor of all time, Lori Lightfoot. Airport runway strips will have strippers and be covered with Black Lives Matter logos painted across all of them in order to fight and combat racism, also known as white supremacy. Flights will only go to Democrat cities such as Minneapolis, Chicago, and Detroit. Any flights coming from Republican cities will be labeled a racial threat and shot down immediately with laser-guided missiles. Flights to Minneapolis, Minnesota will be free for looters on May 25th, which is when our hero George Floyd passed away, sadly. Airport lines will include the following, or airport airlines will include the following: Spirit and Air Jordan. There will be no airport security, which means you will save time.
Can I make a comment?
Being caught up with some funny business.
It said Spirit.
Spirit
Airlines.
Now, I will say, like, now I know he's stupid. He could have gone for a nice airline, and he wants Spirit.
He wants
like,
Spirit.
Dude, why the hell you want Spirit Airlines? Nobody wants to fly on Spirit Airlines.
Spirit Air Jordan. He says.
And we got Air Jordan. That might be even better.
Is that a real thing?
Yo, could you imagine rims on the plane?
20 inch.
Well, actually, you couldn't do that because it would decrease, or rather increase, the drag coefficient on the plane.
Dang. They make it more coefficient then, so we can put rims on it.
No, it would actually mean you couldn't fly as far, and you probably couldn't fit as many passengers. It would also cost, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. But hey, irresponsible people like that have $6,000 to pay for rims, but they can't pay child support for 20 different people.
Rims on the airplane, yeah. Oh man, this is
like a loaded gun in your bag. Black people will be allowed to bring guns and bombs on planes for self-defense against white supremacy. The N-word will be called the trigger word, which means they will now be allowed to pull it. The airport will have a mega strip club with exotic black dancers and big white girls, which will be great for long layovers. Wrap blunts and variety of weed edibles, such as brownies and cookies, will be available for in-flight purchase. All pilots will be black trans women. All airlines will have black squares On them to end racism. Oxygen mask to come down will say, I can't breathe. Every plane takes off, there will be an 8-minute moment of silence to honor our hero, George.
Hey,
he said the oxygen mask that comes down when you
Yes, you idiot! That's why the
man.
mask exists. It's a literal "I can't breathe" mask.
Man.
Idiot!
Yo,
That
this
was
is the
it.
best.
That was
This
it.
is the best thing I've seen all day.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Are you kidding me? Like, dude, what did they do with this dude? Did he just wake up one morning, crack his head like
No, he
an
does
egg,
this.
and
Him
pour
in
the
prime
brain
time.
out of the ear canal?
Yeah, him in primetime 99, they go around to these city council meetings and they just troll. They just troll the heck out of the liberal. And they pretend like they're liberals.
No, that you
And,
can actually be charged civilly for possibly criminally for wasting the council's time. You can also be escorted out of the meeting.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't think
Primetime's been escorted out a couple of times. Yeah, he's been handcuffed.
But where did you find this ignorant person?
Oh
yeah, ignorant.
How did you find out this video?
He does pranks, and but he also.
Oh, this is trolling. Oh, this is trolling. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I said that 3 times already.
Yeah, we were telling you this.
No, I didn't realize this dude was trolling. I thought
He's
this guy was
pretending
being
like
serious.
he's a black
Like,
male.
I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta understand there are dumb people that would actually do this. I thought he was being serious. Like, what is wrong with this idiot?
No, bro. This is
definitely a parody of. He's behaving like he's a BLM activist, I guess. And these are
well, hey, I think you know what? I'd like
to
to be a BLM activist. I'd like to make millions of dollars that I can earmark away and then dodge federal investigations as to how I spent millions of dollars.
Yeah. I like to know what the rest of his shirt says. I hope I don't kill.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll try to look out for that when me play it and see if I can get that.
Beckle, I'm gonna flag this stream as racism.
Oh, shut up, Numi.
You will not know me.
In-flight entertainment will include George Floyd's sex tape and
Oh, I hope I don't get killed for
being black.
Being black.
Oh my god!
I hope I don't get killed for being black.
The entertainment will be the George Floyd sex tape. I don't want to see anything related to George Floyd, but I definitely don't want to see a George Floyd sex tape.
I think
you're gonna get canceled for that.
I think she thinks he's funny.
I think she thinks so too, and she's cute.
First class
Wait,
seating.
who are y'all talking
with
about?
the stripper. Yeah, with strippers. In-flight refreshments will include Popeye's chicken, watermelon, and grape Kool-Aid. White people will sit in the back of the plane so that they can live the experience of Rosa Parks.
He said white people need to sit at the
Oh,
back.
there
of
it
the
is.
plane.
I hope I don't get killed for being black today.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want to go down to South Africa, they don't have a problem with that down there. The criminal element, at least.
Y'all know I'm allergic
guy's
to
laughing,
watermelon. So that stereotype don't apply to me. I love being allergic.
Airport currency will include counterfeit $20 bills. Airport restaurants will include the following: Popeye's chicken. The end. Now let's get to work on this. Let's get this airport built it up and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, that honey over there, she fine. What's her name? I can't even. I'm nervous. I'm like shaking. My heart's beating out of my chest right now.
Oh,
hey, let's do it, bro. Let's get this airport built it up. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all.
That's
an example of freedom of speech. Freedom to act like a complete ass if you so choose.
I think we'll all be on TikTok by the time
I like that guy.
I like that guy too. However, if he's a liberal, he should keep his mouth shut because they actually promote that kind of garbage. That's exactly what they promote. So he needs to be called out on it if he's an actual liberal. Look at it.
With that being said, I'm gonna be presenting today what is called the George Floyd Act. But before I get started with that, I need everyone to take a knee for the Pledge of Allegiance to George Floyd. Take a knee, y'all. I pledge allegiance
That
to
would
George
actually be an act of treason.
I can't imagine this cheap vacuum cleaner.
Oh gosh, not your. Get you two
Yeah, that's enough for that guy. I mean, he's got a whole slew of these things. He just walks into these city council meetings and does his thing, man.
I want to know if you guys actually remember this this happening. I think 2 years ago, where the George Floyd mural was blasted.
Oh yeah,
and I was laughing my butt off. But look how precise it was, though, man. That's the real thing, man. The real awesome thing. Here it is.
That doesn't miss.
That's right.
Yeah, God damn it. He like, get that out of here.
Damaged
That garbage
art
out of
mural.
here.
We brought you that story last night. It honored George Floyd. Now, we know it was struck by lightning. Now what we want to know tonight is what's next for it. Carla Byron is live at Summit and LaGrange in North Toledo to try to help us answer that tonight. And Carla, you got a chance earlier today to talk to the artist. And did he tell you what's next?
After the first trimester.
David Ross says he plans on redoing the mural somewhere in the city, and once again, it will center around George Floyd. He says he'll incorporate a double rainbow into the new mural because the same day of the lightning strike, he saw a double rainbow. Our first alert meteorologist was able to confirm a negatively charged lightning strike did hit at the corner of Summit and LaGrange 4:30 p.m. yesterday, debunking any questions or concerns this may have been an individual's doing. Ross also wants to put the new...
Actually, it was an individual that did it.
Notice an individual, not a consciousness.
And a spokesperson for the city tells me that building officials here have determined that there's no need for an emergency demolition here at the building at this time. Reporting live in North Toledo and LaGrange.
Well, I just want to pause here and look at. There's two things you notice, right? Number one, yeah, exactly. It's precise, right? I mean, it almost looks like, to me, like it doesn't look like it was blasted by lightning. It looks like somebody took.
Oh no, that was precise.
Brick. It looks like somebody took it down brick by brick. That's what it looked like. Somebody, like a group of people.
That's like the walls of Jericho in reverse.
Right.
I was gonna say it's just like when God chopped off Dagon the idol's head.
Yeah.
Funny how that happened.
Right. I love that story. They kept putting it back up. The arms were cut off first, and then
I know they put it back up. The arms fall off. They put it back up. The head falls off. They put it back up. The whole thing falls apart. They put it back up. It falls to pieces. How does this keep happening?
Did you notice the double rainbow? I think that was a sign that God, I'm not going to blow up the entire city.
Why are they paying homage to a guy who robbed a pregnant woman at gunpoint? Yeah, bro.
I know.
And his knee wasn't on his neck, right? Too, when we saw the extra,
officer show. Well, the officer in question was a socio-political martyr because he did everything by the book. And because the optics looked bad, it was opportune for certain people. He got a murder charge that he didn't deserve. I would agree that he should have been charged, not with murder, though.
Manslaughter, maybe at the most.
Didn't the guy die with this whatever drugs was in his system?
Yeah, he was hopped up on.
He was high as a kite.
Yeah, and this remember the video footage says that even before the cops even lent a hand on him, he said, "I couldn't breathe." He was already saying that before he even got out the car.
I can't breathe. Yeah, it's just again, the world was politicized into a white officer put his knee on the neck of a black man saying he can't breathe. He can't breathe. He can't breathe.
And the county medical found that he did die of a drug overdose. But so what they did, what the woke left did was they went and got their own examiner to say something.
Yep.
They got their own ME to say, "Oh no, he didn't die a drug head. He died of racism."
I know God is still working on me because I think you got to pray for these people because this is making me mad hearing this. I'm getting mad. I'm actually getting mad, and it already happened. But it's like, wow, they're so corrupted. They're so evil that it's like how that trans kid that died. That they wanted to claim that got beat up, but didn't get beat up, and it was actually a suicide. They want to stick to their story so bad. It's just ridiculous.
And how could we forget Je suis Smollett? Most famous French black man.
Oh my, bro! How this man hired these? Oh my, and he's still playing victim.
People to come in MAGA hats to allegedly beat him up,
bro.
And they did no such thing.
He's still sticking to that story.
They're like, dude, federal investigators disproved you. You got charged and I think convicted of allegedly fraud or something like that. And your dumb self is still saying, after all that, after the media turned on you when they realized it was a fabrication, I got beat by people in MAGA hats in Chicago at 4 o'clock in the morning.
2 big black Africans, by the way. 2 big black African men.
Wearing MAGA hats.
Wearing MAGA hats.
I mean to tell you.
Chicago at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh man.
Yeah, because that's so. You know, I could have believed it if he said he got beat in Chicago at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, yeah, that happens every day, unfortunately.
By some team.
But come on. They were wearing, both of them were wearing MAGA hats and targeted you racially. No.
What the sad part is that the mainstream leftist media ran with it. You had
I know.
One, you had,
but they, dude, know that they knew it was a lie at some point.
Actually, have you guys seen the video testimony of the 2 brothers talking about?
Yeah, they made it. It was all.
Yeah, I just want to show.
No, I have.
It's actually kind of funny. I love watching it. Like they're going through the commentary about how it all went through, how it went down, and here I'm gonna start right here. So here it goes. It's actually kind of funny the way they talk about it. Here.
The brothers take us back to the scene.
This is where we waited for Jussie to come before we attacked him. After I threw him to the ground, I used my knuckle and gave him a noogie to give him a mark.
That's where I came around with the bleach, the infamous bleach in the hot sauce bottle.
The original plan Jussie had was for one of the brothers to douse him with gasoline. And then I believe it was Hula who said, no, I'm not doing that. I'll do bleach instead. Why the stipulation? Why is one better than the other?
That's something that they.
They wanted to make it look like a lynch
video.
They wanted to make it look like an.
I don't want to hear her opinion. That's a woman. We don't listen to women. God said you are not to usurp your authority over a man. Anyway.
Well, I you know what? What I think is funny is that you realize the guy said he wants gas thrown on him, and he's so dumb that he doesn't realize. Yeah, if your cell phone sparks, you ain't gonna make it, dude.
Idiot.
They ain't gonna be hauling you out an ambulance. They're gonna be bringing you to be cremated. There ain't gonna be much left.
Yeah, he's a dummy. Pour gasoline on me.
Je suis Smollett, the best French actor to ever live.
What did guy call him? Juicy Smollett.
Chappelle, I think, Je suis Smollett, the best French actor to ever live.
What were the name of the brothers again? What were their names?
I remember.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking for their reenactment. Yeah, because it's actually kind of funny. The camera follows them as they're talking about the whole thing. Here it is. Hold on, I gotta. It's actually kind of funny. Okay, is this it? Are you guys looking at it? Okay.
Look our beautiful bench.
This is where we waited for Jussie to come before we attacked him. So we got here with 10 minutes to spare, and we had to plan our escape route to survey the land. His building is actually right here, right above the stairs that we're going to attack him at. We made sure we got there at 2 a.m. sharp.
On the dot.
We had no phones because he did not want us to bring any phones. He said, so we don't lose them. I don't know if that's really the reason, but you can deduce your own reason. So 2 a.m., he was nowhere to be found. He was not there. So we were like, damn, what do? We didn't have no way of contacting him. He had no way of contacting us. So we waited here for about, 4 minutes?
It was about 4 minutes, but it felt like forever.
because it was cold as balls. So I saw him out the corner of my eye, and I was like, okay, that's him. Let's go. Gotta go get this Empire fat. Yeah, that's him. That's him. Is that him? That's that nigga. That's that nigga. Get that nigga. Let's move fast. Come on, let's get him. Get that nigga. Let's get him. As we crossed the street, we said hey to get his attention. Hey, nigga. Hey. He turned around, looked at us, and that's when we started yelling the famous slurs he wanted us to yell. Hey, aren't you that Empire? Empire fat nigga. It's MAGA country. And then he said, what did you say to me? And then that's when I threw the first punch at him. I held the blow because I didn't want to hurt him, of course. So I made it look real, but I held it. Then we started tussling, moving around, and then I threw him to the ground. He wanted it to look like he fought back. That was very important for him because he said, hey, don't just beat my ass, make it look like I'm fighting back right now. So we did that, and then I threw him to the ground. And after I threw him to the ground, he had no bruise. I wanted it to look more real. So then I threw him to the ground. After I threw him to the ground, I used my knuckle and gave him a noogie. So I went like this. Why did I do that? To give him a scar, to give him a mark, to make it look real, like he really did get his ass beat. After I did that, I fake kicked him. I don't know what he was doing. I wasn't paying attention.
That's where I came around with the bleach, the infamous bleach in the hot sauce bottle, poured it on his shirt. Then I finally put the rope around his face. I did not put it around his neck. I just placed it on his face, and that's when we took off.
Well, I can tell you why he didn't want the phones in. They didn't have phones. Somebody's got a hot mic. I don't know what that was, but probably knew me. The fact of the matter is, cell phones work on triangulation, meaning that if Smollett didn't, as I teasingly call him, he didn't have a phone and they didn't have their phones. If the cops looked through the records of which towers were being pinged, it gave them a level of deniability that all three of them were in the same place. Because the thing is, if all three of them are in the same place with their phones, they'll all be pinging to the same towers, which can then be triangulated.
Jesse Smollett. Bro, I felt bad of them saying all those slurs. It was funny.
When was this all occurring?
What's that?
When did this all happen?
What, the Jesse
Smollett thing?
I know it was in January. I can't remember if it was 2020 or 2021. I want to say it was 2020, January
2019.
Oh, 2019?
2019.
Okay, yeah, I remember it was a cold blast. Actually, it was even my neck of the woods. We got that really that strong brisk coldness that day. Yeah. Now, some of you guys know the comedian Michael Blackson. He actually did a parody of that whole situation. I don't know if any of you guys might have seen this.
Well, I wanted to ask you a question briefly.
Sure.
You saw the other night in a certain chat where it was being said that there was no philosophical reasoning for God. How bad did that get, by the way?
Oh, well, I'm gonna be honest. There's certain limitations that my mind gets to when it comes to the area of philosophy. So I really couldn't give you an educated. Some of it didn't make any sense to me because it didn't sound like something a Christian would say. As a Christian, I say that all things are grounded in the by God and His nature and His decrees, and we don't depend on anything outside of that. So we determine what's true, what's false, based off of who God is and what in His revelation. That's what I say in my mind. So I'm convinced of the presuppositional approach. But
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I am saying philosophically, if there's no explanation for God, then there is no Christian faith, because we have to be able to rationally explain what it is we believe and why. If we cannot do that, then we have no real faith.
Right. But before we get to that, because that's a very interesting topic, I want to show this video, man. It's funny. Viewer discretion is advised.
My life is over. I'm getting no gigs. I need some attention from this world right now. Please help a nigga. I need a too big nigga that's supposed to fuck me up without fucking me up. Do you have the money? Yes, I have the 3,500 naira. What? That's $15. I have $800 US in Ghana jollof. We want money, not food. Nigeria jollof is the best. Okay, fellas, here's the deal. I just need both of y'all big niggas to just fuck me up without fucking me up. Don't worry. Ice is busy with 21 Savage. Okay, it's a good time. So what do you want? I want 2 black eyes. 2 black eyes? How? Don't be a bitch, okay? I know I'm black. Don't worry with me. Yeah? We're ready. Yeah, wait! What's that? Wait. Switch.
Who did this to you?
It was 2 gay guys. They did. No way. Okay. Heterosexual.
Can you tell us what they were wearing?
One had a open-toe Nikes. And he also had a pink Gucci black face sweater that came up to here. And the other one had a Burberry jacket with a rope attached to it.
Is it true that they threw bleach on you?
They threw sprinkles in my face. Sparkling sprinkles. Different colors. Yes.
That's Michael Blackson. That's enough for that one. I thought that was kind of funny.
Fair enough. But I wasn't trying to shift onto that subject. I was just curious as to how bad it got, because after a certain point, that chat became so ridiculous. I just decided, nope, I'm not even bothering with this.
I'll be right back, guys.
Very well.
Well, anyway.
Well, either way, gentlemen, it looks like I missed the better part of this stream.
Oh, you did. But it's okay, because I'm finna rebuke all of you. Sharply.
Oh, Lord.
Sharply. No, I'm kidding.
I was going to say, rebuke me sharply over what? Being white?
Actually, yes. Now that you mention it.
That's racist. That's racist.
I don't have the structural power to be racist.
Can you imagine telling a cop that, he pulls you over having gone 80 miles per hour over the speed limit. He finds 15 pounds of cocaine in your trunk, and you can't arrest him for that same kind of reason. Yeah, sure, dude. You're going.
Or if that don't work, I can pull. I'm a sovereign citizen, and I'm you know what they say? I'm what is the word they say? I forget.
I'm a sovereign citizen.
I'm traveling. I'm not driving. That's what they say. That is so
well, man, these guys are dumb. So dumb. Well, look, guys, I'm gonna have to bow out of here. Great to see y'all. Don't be stupid. That's all I can say. Y'all take care.
Well, you have a good night. Jill, where you go, bro?
Oh, I'm here.
You just chilling. Well, I can't tell you not to be racist because you're black, but you're an Uncle Tom.
Yeah, I can't be racist.
Neither one of us can. Wow, is this like a superpower? You know who is racist?
I can be a white supremacist, but I can't be racist.
I identify as a white man with a credit score of 850. So when I walk into that bank and I tell them I'm a white man with a credit score of 850, they better not check my credit. I'm trying to get a house,
Yeah. So you identify as a white guy.
Yeah, with perfect credit score. Hopefully they don't call the cops.
Did you guys hear about the Trump Bible?
I saw something about it, but I ain't looking to it. What is it?
He's selling. Trump is selling Bibles now.
What translation is it? Is it online
It's the
translation?
King James. It's the King James, but he included in the Bible. He included the U.S. Constitution.
What? Like in the first page, like before you get to like Genesis or something.
No, it's at the end. So he's got Genesis to Revelation, and then he's got the U.S. Constitution.
That's funny.
So I guess I said, I was joking with a friend of mine. I said, well, if some of y'all want to include the Apocrypha, I guess the U.S. Constitution would be a big deal.
I mean, these people and these Roman Catholics though, they're pretty sharp. They're definitely sharper than what you would call your average Christian.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm talking about the Catholics who study apologetics, because they'll affirm everything, just about everything you say, until we get to praying to the saints and say that's biblical.
Yeah,
This is crazy. This is crazy. Mary being sinless is crazy.
Yeah.
Like what?
But I think I think I'm gonna wrap it up here.
That's good.
Yeah. I think we had a little bit of fun.
I give you great content. You gotta pay me.
I was asking if you heard if everyone if they heard about the Trump Bible yet. They got a copy. Did you get a copy of the Trump Bible?
No, can you explain? So wait, what's in the Bible?
It's the King James. I guess it's gold, like his sneakers. And he's selling. It's called the Trump Bible. I don't know if it's gold or not, but I would have did that. But it's the King James, and then at the end of Revelation, or after Revelation, he has the U.S. Constitution, because he said everyone should learn the U.S. Constitution and the Bible. So he calls it the Trump Bible.
Get the Trump Bible.
It's doing well. It's not doing as well as the sneakers did, but
we like the King James because it uses the word elect. If you elect me, you get the Bible.
Yo,
Everybody
that was
likes
a fire.
the Bible.
Yo, all right, that was fire. Your brain, that was fire.
Me and Melania, we love the Bible. Yeah, she loves this Bible. I like the Bible. Okay.
Praise God, bro. I love, man.
Of course, the
Let's
liberal.
close out in prayer and thank God for His goodness. Go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, let's do that. We don't do enough prayer on here. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this time to get together and have a few laughs, and also look at the truths of things that people say. And Lord, we do know that Christ is King. And Lord, we pray that you give us the zeal and increase the boldness in us to go out in public and say it with great conviction and without fear. So we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. In fact, that was anti-Semitic. Going in there, Christ is King.
Christ is King. Yes.
No, but they're gonna come after the gang.
I know.
That gang.
Remember, folks, if my channel gets yeeted, you know how to find me. You can either check out my Rumble account or my Odyssey account, and links to both of those are in the description below. So do not hesitate to look for me. And also, for those of you who are interested in my cartoon series, you could check out the trailers here for it, but the full episode will be uploaded on my other channel, my Sailor Picture YouTube channel. So go there if you want to see all things related to my artwork and video editing and stuff like that. There's no politics, no Christian stuff on there. The content is Christian based, but there's no preaching or apologetics on that particular channel. So, but yeah. All right, Joe, you got any final words?
No, thanks for having me, and I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'll see you next time.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for coming in.
God bless everyone. Ryan, everyone that was
Yeah.
Participating. And what was your name, brother? I don't think we've ever met.
Oh, he just left. Yeah.
Okay.
We
and
call him
Numi,
All
of
Might,
course.
Sure. Yeah, and Numi.
Don't forget about Numi.
Yeah.
The thorn in Praise's ass.
I know, right? Numi, are you there?
Up. Numi. All right, Beckel. God bless
All
you.
right. All right, take care. Thank you. And Numi, not saying anything as usual, so I'm going to put you backstage. But anyway, all right. Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. And you guys know the drill. Got to end it with my benediction or whatever you want to call it. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31. Whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of God. And with that, I say, amen and God bless.
Cookie. I want cookie.